Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 228. It's me and my co-host and conveniently teenage son, Jack, back down in the basement on a Saturday afternoon, or late morning. My favorite time to record.
Technically, it's before noon.
It is before noon.
So
here to talk about another week of professional wrestling. We'll hit on NXT, AEW Dynamite. We're going to talk about Full Gear as soon as we're done bantering, I think. We're going to preview War Games.
Well, I guess there would be news before that.
There'll be news, true. Some Raw, some Smackdown maybe even, because it happened. We're recording on a Saturday, so we can talk about Smackdown from last night. Timestamps, as always, are included. You can jump ahead, jump back to anything you like. And what were we going to talk about this week? I don't know. Banter-wise, sometimes we struggle. Anything exciting happened to you this week?
No.
You did some Christmas shopping?
I guess so, yeah.
Not that you can divulge. Well, I don't think your mother listens because you got her stuff, right? So
that was it, yeah. I got a big pickle.
You got a giant pickle, which was...
Pickle.
Watching you eat was gross.
That was
a lot of pickle at once.
Pickle in my face.
And then you hit a candy store, it looked like.
That's where I got the pickle.
At the candy store? At Sugar Rush?
Yeah.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
They just have like a bunch of weird crap.
They do have a bunch of weird crap.
Want Skittles soda?
Ew. That sounds terrible.
Okay, just checking.
No, I don't want Skittles.
That's one thing I'm not getting you for Christmas then.
I went out last night with the guys down the street, and it wasn't Mike's Garage. Isn't that crazy?
That is odd.
It was Chuck's Pub in the basement.
Oh, yeah,
which is pretty much a full setup down there. He's got a bar and a projection.
Well, yeah.
So we were laughing.
For New Year's.
So you know how big his basement is. A pretty standard sized basement. There are, guess how many TVs in there?
3.
5.
Oh.
So there's 3 just in the corner where the bar is. You know how small that is?
I know there's the one there because that's where they were playing music on New Year's.
So that's where, and then there's one on the wall facing the bar, and then there's one on the wall behind the bar as well. And then there's a giant projection TV just around the corner, and then another like...
Must be getting paid good over there.
He just has... He's collected TVs. So, and then there's drums everywhere too.
That is true.
There was a lot of drums and guitars being played last night. So that was fun. Your brother has an exhibition game actually in town today at 2. So we'll see if we're done recording by then, if I can head over. Although he's not playing. He got his very disgusting toe stomped on. So he's in a lot of pain right now. He got it stepped on last night, and he's... now hoping to, it's bad when he's like, can I move the surgery up, please? He just wants to get it dealt with at this point, right? So poor dude, playing really well in high school ball. We are 2-0. I'm coaching his team. He's playing great. I don't know what else to talk about right now. That we might get some snow apparently today.
We did.
We got a dusting, you said? I didn't even notice yesterday.
I saw it snowing, but it didn't stick around or anything.
Yeah, so it's been pretty warm still. It's finally getting cold up here in southern Ontario.
It's still getting cold. It's just not super snowy still.
No, not snowy at all. I would like some snow for the Christmas season, but I don't need any right now. But anything else? Anything exciting happened to you this week? You've been working, putting in some hours?
That's about it.
Are you working today at 4, right? Tomorrow?
Yeah.
What time?
Same.
Nice. So you can sleep in a bit at least. You don't look super tired. This is what's nice, recording in the late morning.
I didn't sleep in much.
We should have gotten booster juice as is our... Remember we used to start every week with what we were drinking.
We'll get mom to
go out and get us some if she would.
Yeah.
I'm drinking.
Be like, hey, it's kind of almost Christmas, sorta.
And this is the big news of the week, actually, in the banter. I moved the coffee back to the right side. Because I couldn't handle
I don't think
faking right, go left.
I don't think you can handle 2 drinks in different places. I think that's too much for you at this day and age.
Well, I had sacrificed an outlet on this side for an extra light, and I realized I don't care about the light. I don't know how to get the lighting good, so I've just sort of been like, you can see us. I don't know why you'd want to, but you can.
You can see us well enough. If you want more, then don't.
The main thing, I think, is the sound quality is okay. I'm trying another new mic today that I haven't tried before. A handheld condenser for those that care, which is nobody.
These are words
unless I ask my buddy Bark from Obscure Mics to... Sometimes I'll be like, tried a new mic, what do you think? And then I won't tell him what it is or what I think about it, and then he gives me some honest feedback on it. So I might do that this week if he's got the time to check it out. Anything else you want to discuss? We got a lot of stuff. I feel like it's going to be a beefy episode today.
It probably will be. So
let's get into it. All right. So in our first little segment, wrestling specific, every week we talk about some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. Okay, so taking a look at ratings, I only have NXT, I think because of Thanksgiving, I'm guessing. Dynamite being on the Wednesday night, I guess people don't do things on the Thanksgiving weekend or something. So NXT averaged 632,000 viewers, down 6%, earned a 0.5 in the key demographic, 21.1. Second lowest demo rating the show's done since April 30th. I actually liked this show quite a bit this week.
I liked it.
There was a clear contrast in crowds. NXT crowd is small and really into it, and I found Dynamite's crowd was pretty quiet at parts.
Well, there's also that.
There was a weird patch where the commentary kicked out.
It made me feel like I shouldn't be watching this.
Right, it was strange. So, anyways, we'll get to that. Any news? I found it a week for news. You know what I'm saying?
Week squared.
Yes.
I guess one of the more notable ones was predictably the Women's Intercontinental Championship was revealed on Raw.
It was.
I'll get to the belt's existence in a second, but I think visually it's beautiful.
You are a big fan. Now,
because it's the Men's Intercontinental title just on a white strap, and white strap is just nice.
It's closer to my favorite, as you pointed out.
Exactly, right? Like this is exactly what I wish they had introduced for when Nakamura had the belt in 2019.
Right.
Is when they introduced this current version without the blue globes, obviously, because that was a recent addition.
Yeah.
But I think the design's really nice. Obviously, it'll be downsized a bit.
Well,
but
on the actual Raw, so I'll talk about it now instead of later, I guess. It threw me off because they did a whole earlier today, and I thought it was saying earlier on the show, but it wasn't. There was like I saw the earlier today graphic, and
I was like, I don't know why.
Right, because I didn't see this, and then it was them announcing, that it's there. And
yeah, so
it looks nice for sure.
It looks really nice. I like it better than the U.S. title for sure.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's necessary. And I've been saying this.
Yeah, we've talked about it many
I saw someone point out there's 12 women on Smackdown, and they have 2 belts. So that's 1 belt for every 6 people.
You got a 1 in 6 chance.
They have like 19 on Raw, so it's a little more understandable. But even still, do we really need?
You've got like a 16% chance of being a champion.
And so then one of your complaints was with in AEW the women's division was there's not a lot of stories without the title, right?
Right.
Like Styling or Willow was a good one. That was one of the rare ones.
You can count on one hand probably.
Right.
How many there's been.
And so I think now WWE that's kind of that problem too.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, not only is I don't think the division can sustain. I think they barely sustained the 2 belts where there's one quote unquote world title on each show, right? But that's fair game because separate shows have their own titles, and the networks are always going to want, or not even networks now. I guess when we get to Netflix, networks and Netflix want their own belts. That's why we can never have one world champion ever again.
Because it's all, why is it on their thing? I want it on.
Yeah, or like Roman's on this show more, and I think that was definitely a factor, but. People always complain the tribalists especially are always going to be AEW has too many belts. And I know WWE has multiple brands. I agree, but like WWE, this is getting out of hand. Because like Raw itself has world title, world women's title, world intercontinental title, tag titles. That's 5. And then I guess there's at least 5 on every show. That's a lot.
That is a lot.
And so it just feels a bit much to me, especially when I feel it's not necessary to have 2 women's belts on each show.
It's hard to make them feel important because you can't get around to them. Like, look at the tag belts. They don't really mean a lot.
Tag belts haven't seen the light of a PLE since Mania. And that's another point for me is that they have all these belts, but they insist on doing 5 matches per PLE. And don't get me wrong, I'm glad we're not seeing through 8 hours every night or every PLE. But at the same time, you got to do more on your PLEs. Like, I think 6 or 7 matches wouldn't kill you.
I think 6 is totally fine. 5 is like TakeOver. Like 5 awesome 20-minute matches.
That's also when NXT had like 4 or maybe even 5 belts at most.
Yeah.
So that was like also they could handle that. But WWE main roster, they do too much especially because they're co-branded. If they went back to the brand exclusive pay-per-views, and I'm not saying they should, I'm just saying if they did, then maybe these 5 match shows would make a little more sense because you're working with a smaller talent pool. But since it's everybody jockeying for a position and all these belts now jockeying for a position, we're losing a lot. Like every PLE, it's a toss-up as to what you're going to get. I think, wasn't it Bad Blood or something? The only title matches were the women's title matches, right?
I think so.
Because Cody was in the tag match with Roman, and you know what I mean? Stuff
and
like
the tag belts have defaulted to
TV belts.
The faction that is most important. Yeah, 2 of your guys can have it as an accessory.
Or because the team of Bloodline mean nothing, they just hot shot them onto the machine guns.
Yeah, doesn't it's not great. Too many belts.
Yeah, like the belt's pretty, but it's just I don't think its existence is warranted.
No, I was telling you the first thing my first news item is to complain about wrestling news items because whatever site I checked first, the first headline, as though it was the most important recent thing, was about a backstage update on Drew McIntyre.
I
So
did
I'm like,
read one of
okay,
those too, but yeah.
that's cool. So I click on it, and the report, quote unquote, is that WWE has been discussing creative plans for McIntyre, especially when it comes to how to bring him back.
And how to use him on TV and what matches to put
Which
him in
is
and how to make him wrestle.
Literally what they're doing for everyone all the time, basically. So I don't know how that is news. Like, guess what? They're talking about what they're going to do with him. Yeah, that's kind of a thing that they do. It's sort of like reporting so-and-so is planning on, a wrestler is planning on wrestling, and we're just figuring out when and where. Like, wow, that is amazing news. So anyways, I just get frustrated as somebody who's sifting through these news things every week, that so many things are just like, here's what happened on a show. Like, oh, they revealed this belt. Or like, if you watch the show, I saw it, right? So I don't need all of this. It's not news to me. And this wasn't either. But anyways, that's my first non-news item.
Exciting for you. I guess you don't even really watch anymore, so I guess it doesn't matter. The Hardys re-signed, not resign.
Hooray.
Re-signed with TNA.
I wish you said resigned. Resigned?
No.
Oh.
I did hyphen it to make sure that
There is no confusion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been sort of off TNA. I'm not even
Because it kind of sucks.
keeping up that much. And it's not even that it sucks. It's not great. I just don't miss it. So I don't think it's bad, but
it just doesn't matter. And I think...
And there's been no outcry from our dozens of listeners that, hey, you need to go back to TNA.
I don't remember where I saw it, but someone saying that TNA would or is overtaking AEW as the number 2.
No.
That's not happening.
No, I don't think so. Dear God, Raw and SmackDown are going to 3 hours soon, just as a reminder.
Oh,
and like,
yeah. Well, Raw, that's going back
to normal.
I forgot SmackDown is too. That's okay. Then at least that's a little better for the belts. I mean, just because we have so many. But even still, to go back to the point of the women's belt, like, let's call up some people.
Yeah.
Like, get Perez up there.
So
we need to bolster the rosters if we're gonna have all this TV time and all these titles.
Did they announce who's replacing Jade yet?
Isn't it Bailey?
I heard it's going to be Lash Legend, but we'll see.
Pretty sure it's Bailey.
Is it?
That's what they've been setting up, and like it's the whole can they coexist? Because she had a feud with
No,
Belair.
that's in War Games. I'm talking in the U.S. title tournament.
Oh yes, sorry, it is Lash Legend.
Yeah.
You're right.
Okay, I thought so.
I thought I was confused.
But this going to 3 hours has the opposite effect on me. I am so much less likely to tune in either of these shows because I'm not.
Well, you were watching.
I
Raw
was for a little
3 hours.
bit, yes, because I watch it recorded and I can skip all of the entrances and all of the packages recapping stuff that just happened 40 minutes ago and stuff like that. But I'm very much less likely. The 2 hours I've been able to sort of fly through using the same technique. 3 hours I don't do 3 hours of anything, so it's going to have the wrong effect on me. I'm less likely to watch Raw when that starts.
I was just going to start watching it.
Yeah, for sure you were. I only have 2 others.
AEW Grand Slam, not Dynamite, the Australia pay-per-view. They moved it from the Suncorp Stadium to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. I guess ticket sales were not as expected.
Smart to go to whatever size fits your crowd because it just looks better, sounds better.
Still
right?
cool to do in Australia. But
yeah, for sure. Did you know you now have beef with Conan?
Really?
Yeah. You ready to know why?
I was unaware.
Let me just grab this figure right here.
Oh, he doesn't like Takeshita? He
said regarding Takeshita's match at Full Gear, Takeshita won. I guess they're trying to push him, but he doesn't really come off like a star.
That's insane.
I just included it so you know that you now
That's insane.
forever hate Conan.
That doesn't... What? I don't understand.
I disagree.
Has he not watched Takeshita wrestle
We'll talk about that match being underwhelming.
I do think it's fair that match is underwhelming, but I don't think that's indicative of Takeshita's star power or
no. Every other match he's had has been awesome.
Yeah, and that one wasn't even bad. It was just honestly lower to his standard.
And we were expecting, oh man, Takeshita Ricochet 1-on-1 is going to be
and honestly, I think it's a little more. You were saying maybe a little more indicative of Ricochet's
I think so.
Shortcomings.
Yes.
But maybe he didn't watch Wrestle Dream then. Like I don't.
So Conan,
he didn't watch Revolution.
You got beef with this kid. Like he's coming for you.
I don't think you have to call him a megastar because obviously he's not
yet.
Always talking for himself and characters not always. But like wrestling wise, dude's a star
and he's on the path to.
He's on the rise. Yeah, they're pushing him. They're not like that just doesn't make sense to me. It would make even less sense if you said about Fletcher, just because I like Takeshita more, but Fletcher's also got the promos right now. Fletcher's the package right now.
He is.
Next one was multiple pitches have been put out for Big E to appear on the 10th anniversary Raw for New Day. New Day's 10th anniversary, not the 10th anniversary of Raw.
It certainly feels, and
Makes
I'll talk
sense.
about it when
will
we get there.
check
It
that
feels
out.
like it.
I do want to see that.
And I told you, Woods even slipped up and said it's what did he say? A reunion instead of.
I'll check out that Raw for
anniversary.
the New Day because I've been like keeping tabs on the storyline, and I just
It was good this week.
I just imagine the pop for Big E, and that's
Yes.
just gonna make me so happy.
Yeah, I love Big E.
Because like I love Big E, and it's just unfortunate what happened to him.
And he should have been a bigger deal than he even was. Why he wasn't a bigger singles guy, I'll never know.
They had this
Other than
they gave him the
probably
title
racism.
run, but then they had Brock.
General Vince racism.
Brock ends all the black champions. Like he beat Kofi, he beat Lashley, he beat Big E, he beat Rock.
Right.
Those are all the black WWE champions.
Because Big E has everything they like generally.
Big E's great. So I hope, even if he can't wrestle again, I hope they bring him for this.
Me too.
And like just bring
He's
back
got a
New Day.
huge personality. They
Yeah.
could use him in some capacity for sure.
So I hope he at least makes an appearance there because that'll be really cool, and I'm just kind of excited for that.
Me too. Last thing I had was that there was a TNA debut. When was that pay-per-view?
I think yesterday.
Yesterday.
It was a small ass venue for Turning Point.
It was. So it's Matt Riddle made an appearance. I don't know if it's long term or not because he was replacing Trey Miguel, who was I guess he was having travel
and Matt
issues.
Riddle did have the history with MSK. Remember in
Right.
the early days of 2.0.
Right. Oh yeah. Remember those vignettes and stuff?
That's
That's
exactly
right.
what I'm talking about.
That's right. So it was Wentz and Kushida taking on Ace Austin and the Hardys. Hooray. So he showed
Poor
up. I
Ace
didn't
Austin.
see anything, but I just thought it was interesting. And I don't know, again, if it was a one-off or if they're going to use him. Or I don't think he's signed
I
or
think
anything.
he would be a good get for them as
He
long as
would.
he's reliable.
And he's cool in the ring.
Oh, I love Matt Riddle.
He's just outside the ring.
He
he's
plagued
got-
himself for sure.
Correct. Yeah, that's all I have.
Second last was AEW pulling Ricky Starks from his upcoming GCW appearances, including a match against Matt Cardona.
Yes, so there's lots of issues.
There was some
between them.
kind of like shoot-esque promo at GCW where he was like, he didn't want to sit at home and get frozen out.
Yeah.
And that promo, like Starks is really good.
I can see,
I'm just sad they're not using him because
I told
I
you
really like him.
I can sort of see both sides. Clearly, he's frustrated with not being used, but I also see AEW's side as being a company. Listen, it's basically a foregone conclusion that you're leaving us. So why are we going to build your brand to go somewhere else? So, and he's the one that even renewed, right? They used their option to renew just to have him sit out longer, I think, which seems spiteful. But again, I get both sides. He's mad he's not being used. And unless he's saying, listen, there's no truth to these rumors, I'm on my way out, I had nothing to do with it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But if AEW is like, no, I think that these are true and you're still under contract with us, and it's basically like Starks is going to NXT or WWE, they're like, no, we're not building your brand any further just to take it somewhere else. So I can kind of see both sides of it if that's what's happening. And I think it's similar with Phoenix right now too, from what I understand. It's like you're gone. Like everything's reporting.
Because Penta, they
gone.
don't have the option there, but Phoenix, when he was out, I guess they have that injury option.
So why would they, like, again, build your brand to go elsewhere? So it's kind of a unfortunate situation because I like Starks too.
I really like Starks.
And I like Phoenix.
I think that's someone they also missed the mark on.
Yeah.
As a singles guy.
Yes.
I remember I rewatched it recently because I saw a clip of it. I rewatched that promo he had against MJF when MJF was freshly champion and they had that feud, and that was a Dynamite promo.
I think Starks could tear it up in NXT.
Absolutely.
He'd be great. He'd be a great get.
He'd be a perfect mid-carder on the main roster, too.
I really think you should have started watching NXT for Iron Survivor season because I quite enjoy a lot of the stuff that goes on around
I'll watch
that
that show, but I just don't. NXT's not.
It's enjoyable. It was good this week. I liked it.
And I did see, I think it was from this week, the clip where Trick called it, he was talking to Bridge and he called it Black and Silver, and that just
he did
hurt me a bit.
Well, it's kind of appropriate because gold is usually the higher metal, right? So gold was peak.
That's true.
Silver's the next
But it's
tier.
just like, it just reminds me because they always
and then the Nickelodeon version.
Yeah, they always called it Black and Gold brand, right? That was the thing. And then, like, that's the Black and Gold era. But then 2.0 is just, it is the Nickelodeon one. But they never, like, called it the Rainbow brand or whatever.
Rainbow.
You know what I mean? Yeah. And, like, even when they went off 2.0, you know, like a year after.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it was the worst thing ever.
It was.
It feels so much longer than it was, 2.0. Just because it was horrible.
It was almost worth having it exist just to be able to complain about it existing.
That was
the one. That
was the one joy I got from it. For me was that like I could just absolutely crap on it every week because it was so far removed from the thing I loved so much that it was just insane to me.
It makes for good podcasting when we hate things.
I would say we could go back and review it, but I don't hate myself that much.
No, I would rather go like 99 WCW if you want to watch garbage.
Right. Or we talked about doing mid or late 2010s main roster.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could pick from like 2017 to 2019, maybe in 2020, you pick one Raw, one SmackDown for each year, and we could do like that would be just 4 episodes of that. If it ends up all on Netflix, I say we try it.
Okay, we'll see. Netflix is coming, so
yeah. But sorry, back to what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Black and Silver. When they changed from 2.0 to like the white and gold logo, they never really called it that either. Like it was the white and gold brand. It was just we're not 2.0 anymore.
Thank God.
Right, but so that one did kind of hurt me for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But then the last one was multiple New Japan contracts are coming up in January. Sabre, Jepu Kabu, Callum Newman, and half of the tag champs, as I told you, Hanare. Sabre though.
Sabre and Cobb are interesting.
Sabre, Meltzer said, has declared intent to stick around, so I don't think it really means much for him, as I don't think he's going to go anywhere.
No, because he'll be like the face of the company, or at least for Gaijin.
Cobb had offers from AEW, I think previously, but he turned that down, so I don't think that's
he's fun to watch
for now. But I love Jeff Cobb. I would like for them to take him, but they have too many people.
They do. They don't.
Jeff
need
Cobb
anybody.
Could be a really, really cool X Division guy.
Every time they sign someone, they need to fire 3 people. As bad as that sounds.
Yeah.
Right? To get back to a manageable roster.
Yeah. I think Jeff Cobb would be a great X Division guy, because he's one of those bigger guys who's agile, so he's if he hadn't had health problems in AEW, Keith Lee would be a hell of an X Division guy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him.
It's not his fault, or even I don't think it's overly AEW's fault that Keith Lee hasn't gotten his fair shake, because there's been a lot of things that get in the way.
Is he still hurt? What's his deal right now?
He's ill or something like that. He has a lot of health issues, I think, which sucks, because I think Keith Lee's awesome.
Yep, he's cool. All right, that wraps up news, I guess, and we're going to go back in time exactly a week from today and talk about a AEW pay-per-view that we watched and had some, I would say, mixed feelings about, right? Yeah? Okay, so we'll get into it right now. It's talking about AEW Full Gear. Okay, so 0 hour
cage match ratings.
Okay, good idea. I watched all of 0 hour.
What do you call it again? The thing with the cage match ratings that we do. Over under accurate.
Over under accurate. Nice.
And when we're late enough to get the Observer ratings this time. Since we didn't do a dedicated review.
So pre-show panel is Renee and other people who I don't like. RJ City, Jarrett. I don't mind RJ City in some capacity.
I like Renee.
We love Jarrett Renee. And some actor I didn't know.
Paul Walter Hauser.
Who is what?
I don't know if you remember, they had that one time, the angle with him and then Jarrett and Lethal's group, where he's a Golden Globe winner for something.
Okay.
And they had that angle where they took the Golden Globe. I think some of it was on Rampage, but I swear it crossed over into our stuff. I could be wrong.
Huh.
He's done a match or two for MLW.
Okay.
Also.
So I put that their panel's almost as useless as WWE. There's just really not.
I think pre-show panels in general are useless. I think pre-show should be I would love Renee and maybe someone like Excalibur, or doing an analyst kind of thing.
Yeah.
Which I think is what this is supposed to be, but it just divulges into bull crap, right? And so I wish it was 2 people running down the matches, not maybe in the arena, but or maybe I guess it would have to be in the arena. Maybe they could do it on the stage then, right? Mm-hmm. If you want to have it something for the live people there, and then have preliminary matches. But for AEW, the pre-shows never really feel like anything. But for me, it's you put some lower matches. We could start making pre-shows actually worth watching. And
I thought there was one very good match on this, at least.
I do think so too, but even that one's just thrown together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It has no relevance to anything on the card. It's for example, let's say MJF and Roddy on the main card. Let's say you don't feel that's important enough, but you still want to give it a decently major payoff. You put that on the pre-show, and then that would get people to watch. And then
it would shorten the main show too.
It would shorten the main show, and maybe you put if you put some more major matches on there, maybe it would entice more people to buy the pay-per-view, because they're always obsessed with on the pre-show, in those last minute buys, right?
And that's what I'm saying, is because they're not really for us. We're already going to buy it. We already know what's going on, so I get it. There's that, but I just don't. Or
for me, something like Takeshita Ricochet, which even though I liked that match a lot, or not a lot, but I liked it, and I love Takeshita, it was a late edition, so maybe that's something that could be on the pre-show. Because then, for me, let's say, if we weren't getting the show, I'm a Takeshita guy, I'm going to watch the pre-show now.
And then if at some point you decide you're even going to put a title change on the pre-show, you start training people that it's worthwhile.
Exactly.
Right?
And then it would be, you could get, then since they put on YouTube, that YouTube views are pretty lucrative too.
Mm-hmm. So we get the whole, it's Deonna Purrazzo and Anna Jay in the opener on the 0 hour, and we get Excalibur, I think it was, going the arena is still filling up, because it was pretty much empty
It's always
still.
the case. They always have to mention it.
So really slow match, zero crowd noise. Taya, because she and Perazo are called what?
The Vendetta.
The Vendetta. So she takes out Jay on the floor with a spear. Taya gets thrown out of the match or sent to the back. And then back in the ring, Anna Jay counters an armbar into a pinfall and wins. It was nothing, kind of disappointing.
Anna Jay's beating Deonna Purrazzo. How do you feel about that?
That's what I'm saying. Disappointing because Perazo deserves better than this. And I don't know. Didn't even know that her little, I guess it's not a faction. It's only two of them. But
that's what we call a tag team.
Barely knew it existed. So then we get the best match on the 0 hour. I think we would both agree.
No competition.
Dante Martin, Beast Mortos, Commander, Buddy Matthews.
Super fun.
Buddy chucks out the other two. The crowd chants. They want Buddy and Mortos
Who
to face
doesn't?
off. There's some energy there, right?
Some meat chants.
Everyone hits big stuff on the floor in one stretch there. Mortos is looking great, throwing Commander and Dante around. Matthews DDTs Mortos, hits a jackhammer to Dante. Pretty awesome looking crucifix bomb by Mortos. Small guys hit stuff to Mortos, I have. Buddy runs in with a nice stomp to Dante and steals the pin right after about 10 minutes. I thought it was really fun. Crowd's really into Buddy, which is great.
Love me some Buddy Murphy.
So they're faces now, boy. Right?
Lately, yeah.
Seems like Julia Hart isn't, but the rest are. Right? Because Brody was definitely facey this week on Dynamite, which we'll get to.
Malachi Black's been shaking hands with anything that moves.
And Mortos just looks awesome. He's just that guy. He's awesome. He never wins, but
he's not a star.
I will watch any of his matches anytime.
I'm telling you, tonight we got Fletcher and Mortos on the Continental Classic.
Yeah, we'll check that out.
I'm watching that instead of Survivor Series, dude.
I would prefer that as well. I mean, I will check out Survivor Series, War Games. And then I guess the main event of 0 hour was, again, I think people I've never heard of.
Say the thing.
Big Boom AJ and Big Justice. Costco guys.
With who?
Which I guess they weren't really...
Who were they with, though?
The Rizzler. Who I learned is just a kind of chubby little dude who goes like this or something.
Yeah, makes a face.
And man, did they cut to him non-stop.
They gotta milk that for all it's worth.
Because he was timekeeper, right? He was ringing the bell.
Just ringing the bell, yeah.
So they don't really say. I guess they're.
Was it the recap on Dynamite where they were playing a bunch of clips and they just put in the Rizzler soundbite attached to anything, just like out of spite for you? I think.
Did they actually say Costco? I don't think they were cleared to say Costco because I don't.
Probably not.
They just referred to them, anyways. It was fine, and apparently the guy broke his foot or had a broken foot.
He either broke his foot in the match or had it coming in. I've heard both. But I think it was before.
So it wasn't bad for what it was. I know it's getting a lot of praise and stuff. It was really, really slow. Great. But he was a former wrestler, right? So
20 years.
He did do at the power slam he had looked nice. Anyways, he also hit a superplex. And I just couldn't get over grown men calling this kid the Rizzler like 500 times. It was just making me cringe every time. Again, I have no idea who these people are or what they do. So you end up with Big Justice, who is the son of AJ. Is that correct? He hits a okay-looking spear, honestly.
It was all right.
And then AJ power boom, which is just a power bomb, and it's over. So for what it was, a quote-unquote, I'm going to use heavy air quotes, celebrity, because in my world, I did not know they existed, but I'm definitely not my finger on the pulse of what's cool.
And I don't think this will be an isolated incident.
And it was totally fine, right? Like, it was more enjoyable than Perazo and AJ. To be fair,
I think it was great.
Really slow pace, but it was fine. So then we get into the show proper. It's Full Gear, and we open up with, I thought, kind of an interesting choice. It's the 4-way for the AEW tag titles.
Wasn't what I was expecting, but I think it's a good choice, given it's just like a frenetic 4-way type thing.
I have some issues with it, I think, but it's Private Party, Kings of the Black Throne, Outrunners, and Acclaimed, right? So my main issue with this, I guess I'll say it now, is this is Private Party, who you've just elevated to tag team champions, and we need to do something to keep their momentum going and build them. And this was, can the Acclaimed coexist, right? Was the overarching story of this.
Which I think is a fine story to tell, but this match is only like 13 minutes.
Yes.
And so I think having that dominate a lot of the match is a bit like, I think we could have maybe axed one of these matches. Like, honestly, again, no offense, if we had put Takeshi and Ricochet on Dynamite or something, I'd be okay with that. And then we could give more time in this match, because I agree. Like, I think that's a fine story to tell, because we've been kind of picking up those breadcrumbs for that story. But it was definitely like the thing I remember most from this match.
And I think that's not the best for Private Party, who were just elevating and trying to establish.
Worth noting is that they were back to their shots theme here.
They're right back to being the not serious baby faces or whatever they've always been. Kind of thing.
Fine. That's whatever. Their character.
So only Private Party got their entrance right. I guess the rest
were
at
on the
end
pre-show.
of
They've done that
right,
before,
and they did that before, yeah. And I did note they're back to their old shots theme, and there was a bunch
which I do think is kind of.
I like it.
I do think I like it better overall. I did kind of come to enjoy the Flex on them theme, the newer one. I thought that was kind of cool, but I do think the shots thing, it's like the way they're dancing around in their entrance is kind of cool, and it's a bit of a crowd chant kind of thing, which I noticed here. So I do think. In general, for them as babyfaces, helping them get over, I do think it's a better theme to work
I like
with.
that, and I guess it's kind of heelish, though. I like the idea that they're these really young party guys who don't really train and do things they're supposed to do. They don't take it they're out having a good time, but they're just so damn athletic, they still win.
And I think it works either way, because you could have them be like cocky party guys and be heels, or you can be like these super energetic, talented dudes that are baby faces. So I think it works either way, and I always really enjoy Private Party.
And what I described as party women lining the ramp as they made their entrance, right? So members of each team take some turns getting offense in early.
They did it the weird way, right, with the two people in. And...
Yes,
right, because didn't the Acclaim try to do the pin your partner?
That's coming up. The crowd responds really well to Brody King and Turbo Floyd sort of facing off for whatever reason. We get a powerplex with a stomp by House of Black, right?
That was cool.
We're very not into this very far. I'm not sure who's legal. The ref's not even trying to enforce anything, and it's not really a complaint because I say I don't care that much about that.
AEW's always established the ref.
If you give me good action, I'm not super concerned about the details. Everybody holds Brody King down for a scissor me timbers. Bowens is about to scissor an outrunner, but Caster attacks the outrunner from behind. And
Caster's also got the boot tassels, kind of like a Young Bucks or something, which I thought was an interesting look.
It's like he's trying to outshine, maybe.
Yeah,
right.
I can see that.
And so this is the first point where Bowens is kind of annoyed because he was about to do something and Caster kind of took over.
It feels randomly like a shift for Caster.
That's funny you just said that because my next note is Caster raided the Bucks closet, ? Private Party hit stereo 450s to Outrunners.
That's
always
really cool.
nicely
it's
in
a nice
sync.
Visual.
It is. Outrunners do their shtick, and the crowd really likes it. And I'm not saying that to complain. I'm just summarizing.
Private Party should steal from the Golden Lovers. You know how they did the 450, but they're standing on the same corner and they do it simultaneously. You know how they did that? Private Party should steal that.
They could do that. Brody takes out the Acclaimed with a black hole slam and a cannonball. Outrunners hit their finisher to Brody, but it gets broken up. F.U. Caster chants as Nigel interprets it as thank you, Caster, which funny. I thought was pretty
Nigel's funny, man.
He is funny. When he's not just on one for Danielson and he's just...
I think that's now that we've kind of gotten out of the way and done the match, which was good.
A little more subdued.
I do enjoy him, yeah.
More Acclaimed tension teased after a Caster blind tag. Caster then wants Bowens to pin him, and he does, but it gets broken up. So if that is a legal thing, why isn't the first team available just doing that then?
Yeah, well, I guess because everyone's going to break it up anyways. You got to pick your spot with that.
Anyways, we end up with a gin and juice to Caster.
Love that.
He takes the pin here, which I'm sure will add fuel to some fire. And this one's over after 13 minutes. My instinct was to say that it under-delivered pretty significantly.
I think so, but I think it was still solid.
It felt really short, never really kicked into high gear like I expected, and again, almost entirely a vehicle for teasing Acclaimed issues and for Outrunners to get their signature stuff in. And Private Party, it's you
which
get
is
your
fine, but not
when
when your tag champs are.
Agree.
Yeah.
So nobody really got to do a ton. I went 3 stars.
I'd go 3 stars at most. I didn't think it was bad, but it fell short of its potential for sure.
Play over under accurate?
2.25.
Wow.
For Meltzer, and then 5.5 for.
So I went over.
Match.
3 out of 5.
I'd say over. Yeah, that feels a little low for me for sure.
Yeah. But not like the high-paced opener to Energizer I was really hoping for.
Yeah.
Then we get Orange Cassidy talking to Lexi Nair, right? And that the Death Rider sent a message, he'll send one back. AEW means everything to him. Moxley can't understand because Mox never needed AEW like Cassidy and others did, which I kind of like that detail.
Yeah, I like that. And he said,
you're a megastar and can go anywhere, and we were toiling on the indies, and this is our big opportunity.
And I like they said Mox doesn't need AEW, and he's going to prove that AEW doesn't need him,
right?
Which I thought was kind of a cool way to end it.
And it kind of is, in a way, he's saying, you took a step down from WWE to come here, and we're all taking a step up. This is it for us.
Yeah, and I really like that notion, because Mox is an original, and he's definitely carried the company, but obviously you have to frame it differently in the context of this story. So
And
I
he
think
could
it
go
works
back
really
to
well.
WWE anytime he wanted.
Yeah,
right?
I think they would take him for sure.
All these other guys don't have that option. Next match we get is Roderick Strong taking on MJF.
Also a match that maybe didn't need to be on the show.
I would agree. It could have been on Dynamite. There's a couple of those that I'm like,
or this would be if you wanted to bolster the pre-show. Like if we're going with that motif, case in point.
Great. MJF rolls out of the ring right away, grabs a mic. He calls Roddy and the crowd white trash. Says he's making millions shooting movies while Strong's mommy is shooting his daddy, which is always a bold statement. Roddy comes out, chops him, and they start out on the floor. Roddy's fingers in the turnbuckle early, right? And so this is a recurring thing back to the hand throughout this, which I have no problem with working a body part, even if it is fingers.
Talk about that later.
Powerbomb to Strong onto the apron. Lengthy arm hold by MJF, working the hand, I guess. Half Nelson backbreaker to stop MJF's momentum. Roddy gets rolling, hits a jumping knee and an angle slam for 2. MJF back to the arm to slow Roddy down. Heat Seeker countered, and MJF takes time to taunt Roddy after a sudden MJF kick. Hammerlock Rampage. I guess that's that suspended DDT.
Yeah, that always looks awesome.
By MJF for 2. Big slap fires up Roddy, but an eye gouge stops him again. We get a drop kick and a clover leaf by Roddy. MJF's now selling his lower back, and he can't quite suplex Roddy. Roddy lands an elbow strike, torture rack backbreaker, gut check, sick kick in a nice combination, right?
I love saying sick kick.
MJF hits a brainbuster. Both men are down. MJF applies the salt to the earth while adding a little bit of pressure to Roddy's fingers, and it's over just under 14 minutes, so another 13-minute match. MJF gets a chair, pulls it, puts it on Roddy's arm, stomps it. Adam Cole runs down. MJF escapes through the crowd. Kingdom and Kyle O'Reilly show up. Shoves Cole, K-O-R. Oh, O'Reilly.
You really had to struggle with that.
I did. K-O-R.
What does this mean?
Kyle O'Reilly shoves Cole to the mat, helps Roddy to the back. I mean, better than the opener, but again, not as good as what I expected. I love Roddy in the ring, and MJF has proven that he is also capable.
Both of them are great. I just think this isn't the match of the storyline, and it's also a storyline I don't like.
And there's no doubt who's winning.
Yeah.
Right? The crowd energy was not great.
But I think I was disappointed because there's no angle here. MJF just beat him. And I was calling for I think there's every angle I called for didn't happen. Like Leo Rush and Lashley, no. Davis and Fletcher, no. Kingdom and MJF, no. Like pretty much anyone's I called. So like if we were predicting those beats, like I would be cooked.
There was some underbooking, and then I felt like there was some real overbooking to end this show. But
I kind of liked it. I think they fleshed it out decently.
You already said it. I thought this felt like a TV match, not one that belonged on this.
Especially in length. This one was also around 13 minutes.
Yes.
This one was 13:35.
The pace never kicked into the gear I was hoping. Just the finish just sort of happened. The aftermath felt kind of lazy. I gave it 3.25 stars. Like, it wasn't bad.
I would agree. Yeah, I'd go 3.25 because I think it's more quality than the opener.
I agree.
But still nothing spectacular.
Agree.
It's 3 stars from Meltzer.
Sorry, how many?
3.
So we went over.
And then 6.51 for
which is
Cage
exactly what we said, right? If you multiply that by 2. So then I thought things picked up on this show. Yeah. And I was very happy. This one kind of over-delivered for me.
Based on the story, for sure. Because this was another story I just really wasn't feeling.
I agree. It was kind of half-baked, if you will.
Ironically, both of these stories feature turns that make 0 sense.
Yeah, Statlander all of a sudden is a face from out of nowhere.
It really doesn't work.
So it's the TBS title match. It's Statlander challenging Mercedes Moné. Statlander presses Moné and drops her early on, hits a flipping senton standing moonsault for 2. Just for a person her size, the stuff she can do, like they need to find a way.
That's what I'm saying. She just needs a good character, and I thought they were onto something with the partnership with her and Stokely, and then they just randomly threw that away, which sucks because I really like Statlander. I think she's really good, but they just don't do anything.
If they wanted to turn her heel, I know she is of the wrong race, but her in Hurt Business or Hurt Syndicate would be cool. I know I don't think you can do it because I think it's exclusively a black faction.
And I like that. Like,
I'm cool with
obviously,
that.
we make fun of the trope sometimes, but that is a cool faction.
That MVP will want to give opportunities to other black people.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. But Statlander needs to do something because I think she's awesome. And I don't want her to end up no offense, like Sheeta, where she's just a good wrestler who's always aimless and gets dusted off for random things.
Right.
I do think they do a better job of trying things with Statlander. Like, obviously, she had the TBS title run. She had the feud with Willow, which, again, that was good
really
because they put effort into that. But, again, I feel like they've missed the mark. And I think next year they need to do better. Because I think with the right character, and she could easily be a world champion.
Yep.
If they can stick to her being a babyface, that's fine. Because obviously now we're here, and I don't think we need to turn her heel again. But just define a character for her, even if it's simple. Just define something for her. And I would love for her to be the one to beat Mariah May.
And
down the line.
If we determine she can't really speak that well and she can't deliver a character, then put her with a mouthpiece and just let her wreck people.
Yeah, because I think she's
silently.
Yeah.
We get a Rana off the apron to stop Stats momentum, and we get our first Meteora off the apron to the floor. If you were playing the drinking game with Meteoras, which we've sort of joked about, you would have been hospitalized in this one, right? This would have been the last match you saw because you would black out after this.
You would have fallen down the stairs and missed the best match of the night.
That's right.
I mean, it's true.
Call back to Forbidden Door, our live experience.
Yeah.
Statlander sent into the ring steps and a Meteora into the steps, and I even have in brackets, that's 2. Double knees into Stat seated in the corner, 2.5, question mark. Not quite a Meteora, but still a double knees. Then another Meteora.
You just take part of your shot.
Then another Meteora. She's trolling me now. 4 in the first few minutes. Then another one.
Yeah, they have to be messing with you.
And I say, like, spamming a reliable move in a video game, right? Like, it's when I play you and I don't know how to do anything, so I'm just hitting the
I
one
would
thing
do that in
over and over
online
again.
matches on 2K all the time. Like, I was telling you, because the Famouser would be an easy running move to hit, so I'd hit that a million times. Or, like, sometimes there's a move I really like seeing, so I'll just hit that a bunch of times. Like, and it's
Somebody
horrible.
just won with a Famouser. I think it was Henley this week.
Gross.
Sunset flip, more double knees. Power move countered by Monet into a neck breaker on her knee. Looked kind of cool. 20th Meteora, maybe hyperbole, caught, and Stat throws her across the ring. Even commentary talk about Monet using the same move so much.
It's just so effective.
Statlander goes on a run, hits a Chaos Theory, but Monet gets a foot on the ropes.
Chaos Theory was sweet.
Nice. Monet counters into a crucifix and then transitions into a crossface, escapes and near misses.
The bank statement.
Culminate in a Monet backstabber. Meteora off the second rope for 2. Tilt-a-whirl backbreaker and a lariat. Stop Monet, and Stat is selling her knee now. Raging Fire, you told me, by Stat for 2.
It was pretty similar.
Pretty close,
It was like, I think it was kind of Fisherman Falcon Arrow, but it was pretty similar to Takeshita's
cool.
Raging Fire.
DDT by Monet for 2. She's getting frustrated that she just can't put Stat away at this point. She is successful hitting the 3 Amigos to Statlander. Then she gets caught coming off the ropes and F5'd for 2 because Stat's a beast. Stat misses a 450. So she's going from like, this is the thing, right? Crazy power moves and drivers and F5.
And she has a really clean 450.
To standing moonsaults and 450s. Like, she's incredible. Monet targets the right knee, frog splash on the knee for 2, which I thought was a cool touch. 2 backstabbers and the Moneymaker. But Stat kicks out, and the Moneymaker...
It was probably the best looking one, and she didn't win with it.
And we were super nervous, because Stat's a big woman, right? So
yeah,
it's like, it never looks good. Why are you doing it to
always
her?
looks so bad, but this one,
good.
like, it looked all right.
Credit where credit's due.
It was easily the best one, and this was the one time she didn't win with it, too. I was like, you gotta be kidding me.
Yeah. Statlander goes for the Saturday Night Fever, but Monet's biting her leg, I think it was, right? So she bites her way out of that, sends Statlander throat first into the ropes, and just kind of rolls her up and retains. It was about 19 and change.
Yeah,
so almost
odd
20
finish.
minutes. I thought it was really good.
I liked the match, yeah. The finish was kind of odd. I feel like you should have done a little more there.
And once Monet decided to do more than just Meteoras, I think it got really entertaining. Again, Statlander is super impressive. A lot of cool looking offense, power, and agility from her.
Yeah, I think it was a good styles contrast. And I think, again, Statlander's so great. And Monet, for all of her faults, currently is still a good wrestler.
She is. Which I'm glad to say.
She can hold her up. She can hold her end of the bargain.
Yes. Competitive match, some good near falls, even though the result was never in doubt here. I don't think, not for us anyways. Really happy to like something Monet's done in AEW, because I've been having my problems with her. Best match of the night to this point. So tell me what it was, and I'll say over under. I won't give my
8.53 for cage match, and Melter's going 4.5.
So I went under. I went 3.75.
I was gonna agree with that. Yeah, I don't think it's quite a 4-star match to me.
If you didn't spam the Meteora.
If you didn't spam the Meteora, and also just a better story really enhances the match for me, which I'll get to on a later match.
But a very good match.
And our longest one to this point, that is a 19:23.
It picked up the action, I thought, this one. Picked up the energy of the show.
Speaking of picking up.
Yeah, then we moved to something that probably can't go wrong. And that's
Hotly anticipated rematch.
Jay White and Adam Page. We love their first match. They seem to have just great chemistry.
I would think so.
So this is coming up again. We get hard chops in the corner by White. He starts attacking Page's knee with kicks, which is going to be a recurring theme, right? But gets dumped to the floor, and Page takes over after White tweaks an ankle. So ankle slammed on the apron and then into the ring post. More Page ankle work once back in the ring. So both men are now selling leg injuries, right? Page is methodical, but White with a leg kick and some chops before Page nails him with the belly to belly and again starts to focus on White's ankle. Commentary point out that Juice Robinson is missing. It's always disappointing.
Yeah.
White hits a drop kick to the knee and he takes his turn in control. He then has a counter into a nice DDT for a 2 count. Page backdrop gives him a moment to recover. Follow-away slam sends White into the corner. Then we get the avalanche follow-away slam for a 2 count. White slips off the apron and runs Page's knee into the ring post twice. We get a nice Jay White superplex for a 2 count. Chop exchange, big double lariat, sudden White flatliner.
I love how fast he slams him down in that, and then into the
really slow German.
yeah.
So it's like a very sudden flatliner, and then like kind of like a really
just
slow
hammers
German.
him down so quick on that. It's just stupid good.
A little later, we get a Liger bomb by Hangman for 2. There's a big apron battle. It leads to White half and half on the apron, and another nasty one on the ramp. Right, really cool. Page avoids the ankle breaker on the ramp that we saw in the previous match,
gross,
right?
Yeah.
And sends White into the barricade. White's ankle is between 2 pieces of the barricade now. Page kicks it, applies an ankle lock on the floor. White crawls back to the ring as the ref is counting. Page tries for a count out, but White dives in to break the count. Buckshot gets avoided, but Page finds the ankle lock again. White hits a dragon screw in the ropes, and that sort of stops Page's roll there. Page misses a clothesline, and it goes right into a White, his patented Uranage, for a 2 count.
Always beautiful.
White counters the ankle lock again into an inverted figure 4.
That was really cool. He like kind of rolled and slipped into his own submission. I thought that was super clean. I really love that.
These guys should wrestle all the time if they want to.
Yeah.
Page gets to the ropes. Page dead-eye, then a second, but White kicks out of that. Buckshot and Blade Runner escape, jostling a bit, and then White just suddenly hits a Blade Runner.
It was really cool. He has, so I remember because I've watched it a couple times now. Page has him in the ankle lock again, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like trying to crawl the ropes, and so Hangman pulls him back, also away from the ropes. But White uses that as an opportunity to slip him into Blade Runner. It was just like, and I didn't even know how to react. It's just like all of a sudden, boom, Blade Runner over.
Yep.
And so I thought it was really cool because I really enjoyed the finishes to both matches where he just catches him with a Blade Runner and then it's over.
Yep.
And I think it just underscores like he does have Hangman's number, right? And I really love that.
It was about 20-minute match, right?
Yeah, I think it was just shy of 20
I thought it
minutes.
was another excellent match.
I loved it. I think it was better than the first one.
They don't, it's weird because they don't work a frantic pace or anything.
It's just everything looks good and there's just a good ring psychology about it.
And yes,
the story is here.
I'm sure people be critical, like, oh, they're just each targeting each other's leg, but that's
I really like that.
Interesting to me.
That's why I like this one better, I think, because I thought it was interesting how he targeted Hangman's knee the first match, but I liked it even more because now Hangman's like pissed about that, so now he's going to go after his ankle. And I liked it because it kind of created this proverbial chess match of them repeatedly going for each other's limb, and like one of them would go for the other one, but then they might slip up and leave an opportunity for the other one to go after that injury. And so I just like that they kept going back and forth and they found different ways to go after the respective injuries. And I thought they played into the finish with the repeated submissions and whatever. So I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I think it's my preferred of the two they had on pay-per-view this year because there's also the one in the Owen, obviously. And this is the one I didn't pick because we both picked Hangman, but I'm perfectly fine with Jay White winning. I like that he's always got Hangman's number, and I don't mind Hangman having this kind of white whale to chase.
What is it about Hangman that he just has these great feuds with people, like lengthy ones, right?
Because he's a great character.
And the commentary I found were really at one point putting Jay White over as a counter wrestler, which I really like because he kind of is that, right? And this loss can allow Page to get even madder and meaner. And he attacked the officials after the match, right?
Yeah, and he took out Daniels. And it seems they're both going for the title, which we'll talk about later.
Christopher Daniels,
later in this show and later on Dynamite. So I'm interested to see where it goes. But I was very happy with this. I'm glad it didn't disappoint whatsoever.
So over under accurate?
4.25 for Melter and 7.86 for cage match.
So I went
Um,
exactly with Meltzer. I went 4.25 stars. I thought this was
I
excellent.
don't want to agree with you again, but
Yeah.
I'll probably go with that because I really liked it. It was really strong. I don't remember what we gave the last one, but
I don't either.
I personally like
Might
this
have
one
been in the
better.
same ballpark. It
Might
was
have
either
been.
4 and 4.25, I think.
But I really enjoyed this. These guys are just. It's not Hangman's best feud purely just because Swerve exists, but it's just really good matches.
Awesome. Speaking of really good matches, we
Yeah.
move into Will Ospreay
The
taking on
undisputed
Kyle
match
Fletcher,
of the night.
right? So new entrance for Fletcher. Looks like
it
a
had
star,
like this
a proto star, if you will.
prolonged intro, and then I think the verbiage before his theme dropped was "I don't want to live forever. I just want to die a king." And he's in the all white with
got
a
a crown on.
And yeah, it was just a star entrance, and it's just like they really did everything on this night to put stock in a Fletcher, make him.
They know what they have, I think now.
I think they do, and I think they did put every right foot forward to make him a star.
And these two in real life are buddies, so they must have been having a blast.
Ospreay with a darker demeanor, like a really just muted entrance, like
the serious Ospreay,
darker Trons, and he was just kind of walking there like expressionless, none of the taunts, none of the Ospreay, like the crowd's still chanting it, but he's not. So I like the demeanor of both of them. I thought,
it's the young heel feeling like the baby face has been holding him back and trying to stop him from getting better.
I think
he's his chance to prove he's better than Ospreay.
Yeah,
right?
Unlike the TBS match, which was a good match without a good story, I thought the story heading into this one was fantastic.
It was.
So that really helped my.
It always helps my star ratings for sure. So I won't talk about everything in this because it's not possible.
I watched this match I think 3 additional times in the last week.
Perfect. So you'll have lots to if you need to add
if I can
anything.
remember.
So we get a hockey fight to start basically, and Fletcher flattens Ospreay with a shoulder tackle.
Yeah, it was like really like snap quick.
And so Ospreay's upper back and shoulders are all taped up here, right? So
that's from the Tiger Driver.
That is the focus of Fletcher's attack, right? Relentlessly. So Ospreay is run into the barricade. Fletcher starts taunting the crowd, doing some nice heel work. Ospreay then with a Rana off the ring steps.
Because they had moved them to ringside, like beside the apron, which will come back later.
Which they'll come back to, for sure. Hard Irish whip and a DDT by Fletcher. He lands mounted strikes instead of going for the pin. Stormbreaker's teased on the apron. Fletcher hits a nice brainbuster on the floor. Fletcher pulls the tape off Ospreay's back before landing a yes kick. Ospreay crumbles on a handspring, so he's selling that. Remember, he talked about even can't hold his kid's hand or whatever.
No, he didn't feel his kid holding his arm.
So his arm is basically numb, and my God, does he do a great job of convincing
I actually I audibly reacted when he went for the handspring kick, and he just kind of collapsed off. Because I was just like, I thought it was. I don't know if I thought it was legit, but it was jarring for sure.
This is part of like when we say he's the complete package, like every little nuance, like this whole you will believe his arm is dead in this match,
and
right?
There's multiple things where that comes back, right? So
yes. So Fletcher kicks him in the back of the head, hits a draping DDT.
That was nice.
Fletcher has a dragon sleeper applied. We get a DDT blocked. Fletcher hits a spinning Michinoku driver.
His Michinoku driver is so good.
Yeah, he's so big and strong now. He's put on, I don't know how much muscle, more than 14 pounds. Probably double that.
Well, 14 pounds isn't a lot when it's just infinity.
That's right, when the bar is infinite. Running corner kick missed by Fletcher. Ospreay boots him off the apron and follows up with a sky twister to the floor.
Which is just magnificent every time.
Phenomenal forearm for 2 by Ospreay. A really stiff chop exchange. Fletcher cheaply lands a super kick.
That I really like. They're chopping each other really hard to the point where Fletcher's chest is dripping blood a bit. And so it's that thing where like the bravado thing, they're like, just like, come on, chop me. And so Ospreay literally puts his arms behind his back, and then Fletcher's just like gearing up for a chop and super kicks him in the face, move. Which I thought was really good. And it looked good too.
This fires up Ospreay. He gets a cheeky Nando's kick and a sit-out powerbomb for 2.
It was the portal bomb though. Remember, it was the torture rack into the.
Oh right, which is sweet. Super fast action culminates in a Fletcher last ride after countering an Os cutter with a neck breaker. Yeah.
It was like this fast exchange. I remember Ospreay hits a roundhouse, then blocks a shot from Fletcher, hits that hook around kick, goes for the Os cutter, perfectly caught with the neck breaker, then the sit-out last ride for 2. It was excellent exchange. The speed these guys can go and still pull off
everything clean,
perfectly is just insane to me.
Awkward flip to the floor. Ospreay with a tombstone pile driver.
Yeah, it was scary. Like they
tumble sort of.
It was like Ospreay skating the cap, and then he tried pulling Fletcher ringside to do a tombstone.
Yeah,
and it could have gone really bad. Thankfully, it was okay.
Yep. Fletcher avoids the hidden blade, bunch of escapes, a stiff Fletcher clothesline, Ospreay Spanish fly, and a huge hidden blade.
That
Both
was
are down, so he's unable to make the cover here.
You could hear the sound. That hidden blade was meaty.
Ospreay avoids the buckle buster, ends up hitting a Styles Clash for 2. Another hidden blade, but Fletcher kicks out as things are really ramping up
That one was
here.
gnarly right to the face. That one was killer.
Apron Stormbreaker countered into this is wild. A tombstone off the apron onto the steps, and it looked fantastic.
It looked pretty killer.
And I know people are going to say there's no way he should kick out, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. It looked awesome.
Matter.
It doesn't matter to me. We all know this isn't real fighting, people, so you can sort of just forgive it. At least I can. Anyways.
Especially when it's this good.
Back in the ring, running kick and the Grimstone pile driver.
I love his kick in the corner. The Grimstone. It's like a tombstone if you were holding them for a normal pile driver. You know, it's like a front-facing tombstone.
Another near fall for Fletcher. Ospreay's exhausted, can't get much on his strike, so he's up there swinging away, but you can actually see, like, these are not his normal strikes because his arm is dead, he's exhausted.
And Fletcher's just, like, wrenching his arms and just dismantling him piece by piece.
Huge lariat, running kick to the back of the head, another running kick to the face, turnbuckle brainbuster.
And Ospreay, just the way he, like, landed was awesome.
And it's over, clean as a sheet.
Oh.
Kyle Fletcher wins, biggest win of his career, easily. This kid is ascending. 2025 is going to be massive for him. He should be a significant singles champion before the year is out. Terrific match, huge victory.
It was
for
honestly
Fletcher.
Probably everything I wanted it to be.
And here's some of my favorite things: no Callus, no Screwdriver.
Yeah,
just 24 minutes of madness and a clean win at the end.
Yeah,
with him, because Ospreay comes in weakened and he just targets that neck and arm and upper body area. Right, the final like super high impact stuff to that area gets him the win.
I just love how emphatically that last sequence was. Like, just
some crazy fast sequences. It shows you how these two are incredible athletes, and B, super familiar with each other, right? Because they are like probably best friends in real life. This is an endorsement of what we and everybody else seems to see in Fletcher, and they're right. This dude's a star. And Ospreay is the type of guy, obviously, this is my buddy, let's make him a star.
only imagine he was thrilled to do this.
Oh, backstage, they must have just been thrilled with each other.
Yeah.
So, a fantastic match as expected.
I absolutely love this. Like, I don't really have much of a problem with it in any regard. Like, just the chemistry these guys have as teammates, obviously, against the Bucks, but opponents here is just crazy. We saw a taste of that in that tag match. And this was exactly what I expected. Just some of the fast-paced sequences were insane. Both of them have incredible movesets. Like, Fletcher just hits hard on a lot of his stuff. I really enjoy. And some of the near falls towards the end were great. Ospreay sold his injury perfectly, and I love the neck targeting throughout. Obviously, that kind of paid off towards the end, especially with both of his finishers, the Grimstone and the Buckle Buster, both targeting that. So it really makes sense, even if Ospreay didn't have the injury.
Buckle Buster's so cool.
Right? And I also love that, to my surprise, it was a perfectly clean win.
Yes.
And a dominant one at that, because towards the end, Fletcher was just killing him.
And I just didn't want to see Callus come down with the screwdriver and have that drama.
No, he was just on commentary, and I liked him on commentary.
Me too.
But I thought this was amazing. It was as good as I had hoped it would be.
It's a match of the year candidate.
It was the star-making turn for Fletcher. Honestly, it's probably my front runner right now. I love this match to pieces, and just because it not only was amazing, but that's Fletcher's moment. Like, as much as I think back-to-back pay-per-views, because I was really happy Takeshita's match was awesome, and he got his moment. And this is Fletcher's.
And we've been on the Fletcher bandwagon for quite a while.
For a long time,
This is deserved.
So I could talk about this match forever because I thought it was amazing. I'm more than thrilled with it.
We'll be talking about it again in a month or so.
I will be talking about it.
And just the only other thing to add is Mark Davis, right, comes out to check on Ospreay, and Fletcher sort of backs away and leaves with Callus. Over-under accurate? I won't say
9.17 on cage match.
I went over.
Observer was 5 1/4.
I went
obviously
under.
Will be under. I'm going 4 3/4.
That is what I went.
I absolutely love this.
And like, what would it take to make it 5 stars? I don't know.
Honestly,
but I'm just
nervous to give it a 5-star.
Same.
And maybe
because
if
I
look back at it at the end of the year, maybe I will give it a 5-star because
you can always adjust.
My only 5-star was the only one I remember is obviously Ospreay Omega 2.
Yeah.
From last year.
Yeah.
But this one is so close to a 5-star. It's just I loved it so much. It was pretty perfect for me.
Fantastic.
And yeah,
would go back and watch it. You already have
numerous times. Fletcher's a made man after this. Ospreay was a made man, so like I said, he could take the loss, which you were too foolish to.
I did.
Pick.
I was.
But
I didn't believe.
I'm
sorry, Kyle Fletcher.
Yeah, I'm more than thrilled with this. This was fantastic.
Great stuff. Then we actually got a little bit of a segment and an angle furthering that I liked on a pay-per-view.
Oh yeah.
So it's Mina Shirakawa coming out for finally we're going to get the champagne celebration, right? So she introduces...
I'm glad we didn't predict the segment because we would have been real wrong.
Really wrong. She introduces Mariah May as her friend, partner, and love of her life. Posters of the two are on the stage, and champagne and the title belt are all up there. May says that this was the celebration she always deserved and no woman can touch her. Shirakawa toasts May and says, "Long may she reign," to finish it. And then they both drink champagne. They start dancing on the stage, and it's sort of Mina in the foreground, right? And May grabs a bottle and goes to swing it at Shirakawa suddenly, but she knew it was coming, so she ducks and then absolutely perfectly
just like roundhouses the bottle
out of May's hand, and it shatters everywhere. Like you could do 15 takes and not get it better than this. Yeah. Nailed it on live TV, first try. May spits at Shirakawa, who spears her off the stage onto some tables. They did not land well, because if you saw, I showed you the picture of Mina's face with the giant goose egg on her forehead. So I don't know how they landed, but it wasn't as designed for sure. And then Mina has just the blood all in her mouth. I feel like that was probably a capsule, because it looked like it was a planned spot. And remember, she's like wiping the blood, not quite kissing Mariah, but like wiping blood all over her face. Yeah, and
she's just kind of looking insane there.
So again, I thought it
was a cool angle.
It was,
and
right?
It kind of adds some May's descending sanity, I guess, as she's on top. She's just obsessed with being on top and nothing else.
And we'll talk about it on Dynamite, but they made the choice to make Mina a smart babyface.
I like that.
Not always the case.
I did like
right?
that. Yeah.
So I did not mind this at all. And again, just the bottle being kicked was amazing.
And I'm also fine with it not being Storm.
Yeah, agree. Next match, we get the TNT title match. It's Daniel Garcia challenging Jungle Jack Perry.
Jungle Jack.
We get a strange. I would suggest it kind of telegraphed the match, because you get this finish what you started package with Garcia with his own mom.
I did like that though, because they've actually built this decently, and it's remember the Amazing Red video for Private Party?
Right.
I wish they'd saved that for when Private Party won the titles, because I think it's just a really cool, even if it is obvious, but I think this would be obvious even without the package. So I liked it here.
But again, I feel like this package you could have included in the build to this match and helped the storyline.
That's true.
You know what I mean?
Either or.
Instead of waiting now. Anyways, Matt Menard joins commentary, obviously, and you've got Perry being a heel, trying to avoid Garcia to start. They end up on the floor. Perry gets run into the barricade twice. Garcia boots him over the barricade. Perry gets control, hits a draping DDT from the apron to the floor, then runs Garcia into the barricade, draping DDT off the barricade as well. Perry then slows things down. The crowd is noticeably silent here. Nigel suggests they are stunned, so commentary's trying to find a way to explain why no one cares about this.
I mean, after the match that preceded it.
That is true.
And the
tough
angle.
act to follow. Garcia with a doomsday to shift the momentum, which you'll see my son shaking his head, because that just means it was a Saito suplex.
It was not.
Forever a doomsday because of Karrion Kross.
No, it's not.
Drop toe hold and a snare trap by Perry. Perry drops off the apron and slams Garcia back first before taunting Menard at commentary. Powerbomb to Garcia through a table beside commentary, and Garcia barely beats the count here. Perry then taunts, and Garcia starts to fire up. Boot and a clothesline stops Perry's offense. Garcia butterfly suplex sends Perry into the corner. Hesitation drop kick to the side of Perry's head. Then Perry hits a... what's the KOD? Belair's move for a 2 count. Garcia gets the belt, and Perry begs him to hit him with it. Referee takes the belt. Perry low blow and a running knee for 2. Garcia hits a foot capture pile driver for 2, which I don't know if I've seen before.
I'm just having trouble even remembering what that is.
We get a million overhead chops to Perry, and he's just sort of smiling. Garcia pile driver, sharpshooter. He pulls Perry to the middle, leans back. Perry taps, and Garcia wins the TNT title after...
They finally did something.
18 minutes. The stopping and starting.
I thought you were going to say after months and months.
Well, years probably of stopping and starting this guy. It looks like they're trying to follow through on it. We'll see how it goes. I thought it was a good match, and I thought the outcome was correct. The crowd energy was down for the first half or so. Again, tough act to follow after Fletcher Ospreay. They rallied down the stretch. I thought the final few minutes were really good. Over under accurate, and any thoughts you had on it?
I thought it was pretty good. Like, it wasn't my favorite, but I thought it was solid, and Garcia's really good in the ring, so I liked it. And I'm happy he finally got his moment, because they need to try to do something.
I agree.
So that makes sense. 3 3/4 from Meltzer and 6.43.
So I'm pretty much accurate. I went 3 3/4.
I got 3.5.
I liked it. I might actually back it up to 3.5 because I think
I liked
preferred
it, but
Statlander
I
Monet.
yeah, I would say so.
Okay, I'll go 3.5. So I'm under.
Yeah,
Slight
I
under.
think 3.5. It was pretty good. It was just not far from my favorite match.
Right. Then with the match we were hoping would be amazing, and it's Takeshita
It was just good.
taking on Ricochet for the international title. We have a struggle for an advantage early on until a leaping kick by Ricochet, but Takeshita pulls
I
him
hate
head
his
first
pants.
into the corner. Whose pants?
Only one of them was wearing pants.
I don't remember these details.
Ricochet.
That's crazy.
Have you ever seen Takeshita wear pants in a match other than one street fight where he wore the pirate pants?
I don't think so.
Exactly.
Springboard crossbody by Ricochet. Takeshita boots Ricochet off the apron onto the floor, runs him into the turnbuckle, drops him back first on the barricade. Backbreaker by Takeshita, then 3 knees to Ricochet's lower back. Sudden spinning side slam by Takeshita. Takeshita with some really hard Irish whips. Ricochet goes for a springboard move from the apron, but his back gives out and Takeshita throws him off the top. Roll through, dropkick staggers Takeshita for a moment. Ricochet now in control. Top rope lariat, Insigiri sends Takeshita to the floor. Handspring, twisting flip to the floor. 450 back in the ring for 2. Ricochet then gets caught and hit with a nice blue thunderbomb. Power drive knee gets blocked, but a forearm connects and another flattens Ricochet. Ricochet counters a couple German suplexes, but it leads to a Takeshita wheelbarrow suplex. I always like that. Suplex looks awesome, I think. Ricochet running elbow strike. Both men are down. Avalanche German lands Ricochet on his face. Then a huge lariat for a 2 count. Power drive knee connects, but Ricochet manages to kick out. Ricochet with a poison Rana and a huge shooting star for a near fall. Vertigo countered into the bastard driver for 2. Twisting brainbuster by Ricochet. Fireman's carry into a head kick. Knee to Ricochet upside down in the corner. Avalanche raging fire. That's it. Takeshita wins and retains his title after 19 minutes.
I thought this was really strong. It's just I feel like it should have been more energetic and
when you listen to all those moves and stuff,
forth.
it sounds pretty awesome, right? But there was just something missing.
I still remember it holding my attention as much as most Takeshita matches do.
It just didn't hit that pace I was hoping for, and at times
and Ricochet doesn't do as much cool flippy stuff anymore.
Right. It felt like somebody I just heard was commenting like he's like 8 years older than when he was really getting known for doing all this crazy stuff. Like he's not that young, and that the athleticism it takes to do the stuff he does, you know what I mean, could be affected by age at some point. There was a bit of guys hitting moves and not a ton of storytelling here, right?
Yeah.
Takeshi's
the story has just been Ricochet hunting the title for the last month.
Right. And Takeshi's stuff always looks great. I agree with him winning, but I was hoping for a show stealer here, right? And it's not what we got. So
show was already stolen.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Over, under, accurate?
Definitely under. Meltzer gave it 4.25.
Wow.
6.6 for cage match.
How do you feel about it? I'm kind of wavering between 2 again.
I probably enjoyed it as much as the last match, so probably 3.5.
Me too.
There's nothing really wrong with it. It just fell short of expectations.
And again, I was close to saying 3.75, but I don't think I'm going to go that high. I don't think
it's quite there for me, which sucks, but
true. 3.5 stars. Good match, but not an amazing pay-per-view quality match, I don't think.
No.
One that surprised me a bit, we got Swerve versus Lashley, as I've never been the hugest Lashley fan in ring. Like, I think he's good, but
me neither. He's a good big man, good muscle guy.
I think
just not as much my style.
Swerve did him a lot of favors here, I felt like. So Lashley overpowers Swerve early, and I would add often probably in this. Lashley
I'd be surprised if he didn't.
Risks a DQ in the corner and then the ropes, and he's getting in the ref's face, so doing some nice heel work here, right? Like really pushing the count and then intimidating the referee afterwards. We get a cutter by Lashley that looks cool. Why do I say a Yokosuka cutter? Is that something?
Because it was like the Dominator where he has him up on the shoulder, but he's not slamming him down. He was kind of dropping him like that.
Right.
Remember you asked me what it was called?
Yes, that's why I don't know what it is, even though I wrote it down.
Yeah.
Follows with the stalling one-arm superplex where he's like waving sort of thing, right? As he dominates Swerve for the first few minutes. Swerve gets his feet up on a corner charge, but Shelton gets on the apron to distract Swerve. Swerve to the floor. Lashley goes back to dominating. Swerve's about to get rolling again, but Shelton grabs his ankle. Ref sees it. Shelton's thrown out. Swerve gets slammed on the apron and thrown into the barricade. Swerve slips out of a power slam attempt on the floor, runs Bobby into the steps for Swerve's first real advantage in this match. DDT on the apron, kind of, and then an awkward fall to the floor.
Yeah, it was odd.
Swerve stomp off the steps through the announce table.
That looked pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It felt like a good table break too.
Followed by a house call and a Swerve stomp, but Lashley somehow manages to kick out. So Swerve and MVP are nose to nose on the floor, just enough time to allow Lashley to recover and hit an overhead belly to belly that sends Swerve really close to the barricade corner, right? Like, it was like, damn, if he had hit that corner, it would have been some serious problems. Lashley follows up by spearing Swerve through the barricade. Looked pretty good because they don't have the barricades that, I don't know.
Break on
A,
command.
the WWE does it all the time, and B, it's those big padded barricades that are
break on command.
Right. Another spear in the ring. The hurt lock is applied, and the ref calls for the bell.
Yeah.
This one only 13 minutes, and then Nana gets hurt locked too after the match for a bit, right? So I don't know, man. If you told me that Swerve would lose clean and be mostly dominated by Lashley for like 13 minutes, I probably wouldn't have been happy, but
I thought this made Lashley look like a monster.
I agree. I found myself really enjoying this match a lot. Like, Lashley looked like a beast, hit impressive stuff.
And it puts him over as this incoming threat, right?
Yeah.
Which I think is important to do.
Because Swerve's an established megastar, and he kind of had no chance in this other than to hit really huge stuff like the table spot.
And like then kind of finisher spam him, and still he couldn't.
He still couldn't do it, right? So the way this went seemed to indicate that the Hurt Syndicate are going to be major players going forward.
And I like that because I think
that's
they're a really
idea.
cool group, right? And between Shelton's general presentation and then Lashley, his big debut here, they've been really presented as like this force to be reckoned with, right?
And it's weird because Swerve's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
And I've never been a huge fan of Lashley, but somehow I had no issues with the way this went. I enjoyed the heck out of it.
And it kind of backs up MVP's claims too, so I kind of like that.
So
I really liked what this was. 7.41 for cage match, and Meltzer gave 3 3/4.
So I went over both. I went 4, even though it was 13 minutes. I just thought because it wasn't what I expected, really, because I thought like it would be more back and forth. It was really a dominating performance for Lashley, which on paper should bug me.
Yeah.
But I don't know. And I guess just enough cheating too to hold Swerve back, right?
Yeah.
Like just a couple spots where there's a distraction.
But not to like undermine Lashley.
Right. But enough to make it like Swerve can't keep a roll going because of them. So I thought it was really good.
I really liked it. I just don't think it's quite a 4-star match for me. So I'm going to agree with Meltzer.
Okay. In the moment, I was like, damn, I
was surprised with it too, though, in a good way.
Good match. Only thing left is the main event. It's Orange Cassidy challenging Jon Moxley for the AEW Championship. Allegedly,
we still don't see it.
We don't know if it's in that case or not.
Holds up the briefcase,
right? Which leads me to believe at some point are they going to do the whole like it's not in there and who has it? That'd be fun.
That seems weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, Orange Punch.
Steal the bell. Give me a title shot.
So before the bell even rings, we get, I think it's 3 orange punches.
Yeah, the bell rings somewhere in there, and I find that hilarious because the DraftKings ads, it's always like, answer questions about the match. What will happen first? The Death Rider, the orange punch.
Oh God!
And then it's literally the first move is the orange punch. So it's like, imagine you bet Death Rider, you would feel like the biggest idiot.
Yes. So Moxley's out to the floor. Cassidy stays on the attack, lands mounted punches on the announce table, bites Moxley's head. Cassidy's thrown into multiple barricades through the crowd. Right, they went
People
over the
must
one.
Taste good. That's a lot of biting on this show.
There is.
Will
Washington. Cassidy's in a chair at ringside now, punches and then a running boot from Moxley. Cassidy's bleeding on the floor after taking some more punishment. Paradigm shift on the steps. Mox and Shafir talk. Nice. I like this part too because it's like you literally watch Mox go, hey, do this and distract him for me. And so Moxley distracts the ref and Shafir boots
creates
Cassidy.
Like it communicates to you that there is like a plan. And it's not just them trying to help Mox. Like Mox is the playmaker here.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. Moxley bites Cassidy's head in the corner.
See? People taste good.
Stalling Gotch piledriver by Moxley as he's working a very deliberate pace here.
That's what I feel like he's done that lately.
Yeah, I don't mind it.
I don't mind
Repeated elbows before throwing Cassidy to the floor. He puts Cassidy on the announce table, bites his fingers. Cassidy fights back briefly, but gets sent into the steps. Lots of cannibalism on this show.
We love it.
Back in the ring, the beatdown continues, including an X-Plex.
Beatdown clan.
Cassidy fights back a bit, but gets his back clawed. Like, you can actually see...
I think it's part 60 was red, but also Moxley's just like digging in.
Really digging in. Before returning the favor to Moxley, Cassidy off the ropes, but flattened by a forearm. We get a Moxley guillotine, desperation diving DDT by Cassidy, satellite DDT, orange punch countered into a Mox cutter, forearm exchange, hands in pockets in defiance, followed by lazy kicks, then 2 orange punches and a roll up for a 2 count. Mox with a huge lariat, but Cassidy kips up, another orange punch, which is now like the weakest finisher. It's like a crossroads.
Next to the crossroads.
And a beach break for a really good near fall here.
Beach break's more powerful. Confirmed.
Claudio and Pac hop the guardrail.
I just like the way they're swarming the ring. It just made them look really cool.
And JR's pissed off about it, right?
JR's like, JR hates it.
They get on the apron. Conglomerations show up now, pull them off the apron, and the brawl is on. Romero off the top onto a pile. Ref is distracted. Shafir teases a briefcase shot. Willow runs out. Timing wasn't great. Spears Shafir to a nice response.
I did think it was cool that she came out because I forgot she was kind of down to conglomerate. So.
And then remember, our screen goes green and silent. And when it comes back, the ref is making the count and Yuta's there.
I did see the finish on a video. It was like he hit, I think, a Psycho knee, and then Mox drilled him with a Death Rider.
Okay.
It was pretty nice.
Because we don't get to see it, really. Mox retains as expected after 19 minutes. So then Yuta and Moxley pour chemicals, right? The ringside sanitizer.
Yeah, because Cassie's all bloody, so I guess that'll feel nice.
So they pour the chemicals on Cassidy's face. This is where the overbooking kind of comes in for me. Hangman comes down with a chair, and he and Mox kind of have a standoff. Then Christian Cage runs in and hits a kill switch to who? Moxley?
Yeah. Because he's going to cash in the title shot.
And then he's getting his contract because Page has picked it up.
And then Christian says, I'll give you the first shot, and so Hangman relinquishes grip.
And our sound goes crazy but recovers, so I think we might have missed that part. Remember the audio went all wonky?
I don't know. You can kind of see him say it, but I also saw other people mention it, so I don't know if I actually saw it or not.
Hangman walks away. Cage is about to cash in. Now Jay White runs in, hits a Blade Runner. Before he gets taken out by Pac and Claudio, Death Riders all leave. Jay White grabs a chair and walks out last. So then, again, we're not done the booking here. This was the
unnecessary part for me.
Death Riders are shown kind of escaping the arena, heading to their truck. And it gets smashed into by a speeding car, which apparently Darby was actually driving. Like, why get a stuntman when you have one on the roster, right? Who doesn't care? So Death Riders commandeer another vehicle and race away as Darby gets out of the smashed car.
They just go to the valet and just like take some keys.
Grab another one. So he climbs onto the Death Rider truck and he starts smashing it with a skateboard to end the show. Basically, I didn't even do my follow up on this match. I did.
I liked it. I thought it was
good for sure.
It's definitely a slower, more deliberate pace, and I can see people taking issue with that. But I think at the end of the day, Moxley's still a great wrestler, and so I still enjoy it. And obviously, he's this dominating force contrasted to the plucky babyface Cassie, right?
Yeah.
And so I like that Cassie was kind of fighting from underneath the whole time, and he had to get that jump on Moxley to kind of put them on what you might call equal footing.
And
you know, the orange punch is rendered useless.
Clearly, Cassidy, there's no universe where he's winning, so that hurts it a bit for me. I've pretty much settled on that's kind of like a quarter star deduction for me. Like if there's no chance one guy is winning, I can't really Fletcher Ospreay, right? Doesn't have that problem. I wasn't sure who was going to win.
Oh, I was sure, but
either one is pretty realistic.
I guess it could have been Ospreay, but I was just so certain that it had to be Fletcher,
and so that helps. Right, because
sure.
I don't know this one.
I'd say for the same for Hangman Switchblade.
Right,
could have gone either way.
Again, same thing. You could have gone either way. So again, I thought this was a good match. It was not the best match on the show for me. Probably, maybe tied for third. Over under accurate.
4 stars for Meltzer and 7.9 for Cage match.
So I'm a bit under. I would go 3 3/4.
I agree
for this one. I liked it.
It just falls short of a.
And then all the stuff at the end was a lot for me.
So
go ahead, talk through it.
I take umbrage with the Darby part because
it's
obviously I've long pitched my Darby Allin storyline. Now his involvement in the C2, which we'll talk about later, kind of puts a pin in that.
I don't know, does it? But we'll talk about it.
It does in a way because.
But I feel like the car crash combined with that's what causes him to, spoiler, we're going to talk about it anyways, get murdered by Brody King. That could be enough to send him away again.
But he can't go away because he's in the tournament.
I guess so.
That's what I'm saying. Like he is away.
That's when we need to introduce alternates.
I would like that idea.
He just goes 0 in the tournament because he's damaged, and then we go from there.
Okay, so then we can shift the pitch to he just gets pasted by everybody. In the C2,
and that's how we can get Briscoe a win, or is he in the same division? Or Mordo, so whoever never gets wins.
Neither of them.
Somebody who doesn't get wins can get
Ricochet.
Wins. Okay, there you go.
That sounded mean.
But he's just broken from his interactions with these guys.
Okay, so then I like that a little better. Then that's not a bad way to spin it.
Hopefully.
And then so for the other stuff, I kind of like it. So because Hangman, if you cast your mind back to earlier in the year, which I know is a struggle for you, so I'll do it for you.
Thank you.
There's the promo where he literally talks about his one goal is has always been to get the AEW title back, and
Right.
that's all he cares about. He got sidetracked with his obsession with Swerve, obviously trying to make sure he didn't win the title.
Yes.
And so now I think this is him getting back on track. He obviously has history with Moxley. 'Cause remember the Blackpool Elite feud stemmed
sure.
from their feud, and that was my favorite feud last year.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. And then also here with Christian, given they both had issues with Switchblade and they had teamed in that match the other week, they seem to have struck up that kind of deal, right, for Hangman to kind of benefit from Christian getting his title match, right? So there's that. And then obviously Switchblade having problems with both of them, he's going to be the problem there. And I mean, he talks about on Dynamite too, he beat Hangman twice. So if anyone's jumping the line, it's him, right?
Which makes sense.
And I like this because, and I saw a news thing that was like, the point of this is to kind of show everyone chasing the title, and I like that. It makes the title feel important, like
if there even is one,
right? Like how Cassie was saying, it's the power here, right? So I like that everyone's chasing that, and so I was calling for a 3-way, but I guess if we factor in Christian, we could get the 4-way. I like that. I'm good with the 4 because we don't often get multi-man title matches for major titles. Like the international 3-way at Wrestle Dream is a bit of an outlier. I feel like we don't always get that.
Right.
Especially for the world title, I feel like there's been less multi-man matches. The last one I remember is the 4 Pillars 4-way. Oh wait, no, there was also Swerve Hangman Joe, I guess.
Right.
As well.
Joe.
But anyways,
come back, Joe.
I thought the ending was a lot, but I'm good with it. I'm excited for the prospect of a 4-way with 3 of my favorite guys and Christian.
Yeah. Yeah, he's one of our favorite guys on the mic, at least.
Yeah.
So overall, I didn't do my math on this one. I'm going by vibes, as the kids say.
It was a bit disappointing to me, only in the regard that the last 2 years, Full Gear has been easily our favorite show.
But at the end of the day,
I think it's all out this year.
We had a match of the year contender. We had a 4.25 star with White and Hangman. And this is me personally. Anything above 3.5 stars for me is like, that's a very good match.
Women's match, main event.
Right. So there's
Ricochet Takeshita even is still
pretty
really
close.
Strong.
So there's 4 matches that I really like.
Oh, and you also really like Lashley and Swerve.
That's what I'm saying. That's one of the 4-star ones.
Right.
But then a couple that felt like they could have been on, like Strong MJF.
And
even Garcia and Perry could have been a main event on TV, right? I think. So I went
for a TV title.
I'm feeling a B. Like there was a bunch of stuff I liked, and then there was some stuff that I thought they could have trimmed the fat on, or it could have been better, like Takeshita Ricochet. So I went a B show. I still don't feel mad that I paid money, even just for Fletcher Ospreay.
That's worth my money.
Well, it's not your money, it's mine.
Would be worth
I wouldn't
my
say
money.
that match alone is worth the money, but
I'd pay for that match.
That and honestly Hangman White.
I'd pay for those 2 matches.
And Lashley Swerve. I loved all 3 of those. So a B show, good stuff, but not top tier.
I'm really close to going a
AEW.
B+, but I think I'll agree with you there just because some of the things kind of felt underwhelming. Like a couple of matches that didn't need to be here, and then more so just Takeshita not being Takeshita.
Right.
Or not that it's his fault, just not being up to his usually high standard.
Right.
So I will go with a B as well. I think it's just shy of a B+.
Right. So I guess we stay on the AEW train, right? Next.
Choo-choo.
And we talk about the follow-up, the aftermath from that pay-per-view, taking a look at this past Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, so I do like the immediate follow-up from Full Gear into this, because I don't have to remember things. We just talked about it.
Well, if you do have to remember, we got that recap with the November Rain track.
Oh, we did, yes. Then that helps, too. So you get everything run back.
They've that a few times on TV, so maybe they really want to get their money's worth.
I was just going to say, they pay big money for it. They're probably exactly what they're doing.
Gotta get most use out of those big Guns N' Roses bucks.
Man.
We start off hearing from the Hurt Syndicate. They all come out. MVP praises Lashley and Benjamin as incredible athletes, comparing them to Walter Payton and Michael Jordan from Sportball.
2 big Chicago
people, as they're in Chicago tonight.
1 football and 1 basketball, just to cover.
Oh, I would have thought they were both basketball.
How dare you? You say you love sports.
Or baseball, because Michael Jordan baseball.
Right, that he did play baseball.
Yeah. MVP trashed Swerve for turning them down. The fans chanted Swerve's house, so MVP reminded the fans of what Lashley did at Full Gear, and we get some actual highlights of that as well. MVP talks up Lashley as the greatest athlete in AEW, and he's a walking Armageddon. He says they're about winning championships and turning those titles into more money, and he talks about the standard of excellence, Shelton Benjamin kicking off the C2 And they're the best at absolute misery, and they're there to hurt people, as their theme song states.
Yeah.
The theme song's very good.
I thought he spoke a bit too long here. I would have rather they just like wrap it up and get to the match, but he always sounds good.
I didn't need it to be here, but he always hypes them up really well. And I do like the way he speaks. And he has some good lines here, so I don't got
Walking Armageddon's cool.
Yeah. They got to get out of here, though, because no side peeps for the C2.
So he's upgraded from a walking weapon. It's better than Josh Alexander.
Is that what we're trying to say here?
Is that what we're saying? Are they
I don't know.
teasing he's coming and they're going to feud?
I'd take him.
I thought they were teasing him on NXT this week, maybe.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And then so we will move on to our first match, but first I wanted to talk about the C2 rules and whatever, just in case anyone's new here, and we'll go over the lineup since they did this announcement special on Sunday night, which I thought was pretty cool. So we can talk about the full lineup. I did tell you about it, but I don't know how much you remember, so we'll see, I guess.
Not much.
Yeah. So the rules, we obviously have 20-minute time limit on matches, which has extended to the title matches as well. But yeah, so 20-minute time limit on all the matches. I don't remember, was the finals a 20-minute
extended,
match?
I believe. I think it was longer.
Can you look up World's End 2023 and then look at Mox and Kingston?
Okay.
Then everyone's banned from ringside, obviously, which is a nice touch to it. 3 points for a win, which is bar all. It's not like I think some tournaments they'll do like different points for different wins, but I think it's just bar all. 3 points for a win, 1 point for a draw. And then the difference for this year's is that at World's End, the point leaders from each league, instead of facing the runner-up from their own league, they'll face the runner-up from the opposite league in what is called the semifinals. And then the same night, we'll have the finals for the Continental Championship. So out of this, we'll get 3 pay-per-view matches at least.
Right.
Which will be kind of cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
What was...
We love us a good tournament.
Just go to the results tab and they'll tell you, you'll have all the run times on there. And is it not...
I'm still looking. You just keep talking. I don't know why I can't find it right now.
But yeah, so then the lineup for both leagues, we'll have 6 guys in both leagues. We have Gold and Blue League once more. For the Gold League, we have Juice Robinson and the Bang Bang Gang, Brody King honoring House of Black, Claudio Castagnoli, the Death Riders, Darby Allin.
It was under 20.
Under 20. Really?
17, 16.
I thought it was longer. Okay. All right. I stand corrected. Ricochet and Mr. Will Ospreay.
Right.
So thoughts on that lineup? I enjoy it. I kind of like having Juice in there. That seems like our fall guy probably.
I like he does seem like the fall guy, but capable of good matches still, right?
Juice is cool. Brody and Claudio are facing off next week, but that's those are some good ones. They're 2 of the hitters from last year's tournament,
right?
So we have some returning guys.
Darby's, so much talent. This tournament really showcases like how much talent there
Darby,
is.
I wish he would go away, which sounds mean, but it's for his betterment. I do want him like just to take that time off and do the story I'm pitching, but he's also great. Just on surface value, he's a great guy to have in this tournament.
And Brody King as just the powerhouse monster, right? But and Claudio, I guess.
Ricochet, I hope he shows out because the Full Gear match has me questioning, and then Ospreay, that's just I'm very grateful for that.
Can't miss with that one.
Yeah. And then Blue League might be my preferred league overall because we have Beast Mordos, Daniel Garcia, new TNT champion, Mark Briscoe returning as well.
To take some pins. To eat some pinfalls.
Probably. Shelton Benjamin, which is obviously in the promo earlier, Kyle Fletcher, and the champion Kazuchika Okada. I'm super thrilled with this one because on Collision tonight we'll be getting Mordos and Fletcher, which is absurd. We already got coming up next. We'll have Benjamin and Briscoe, which I think is a great match. Mm-hmm. Okada Garcia is also on Collision, which I think is good. Okada Fletcher will be really cool. I'm really happy with this lineup though.
Like, so I feel Mordos is there to lose, Briscoe's there to lose.
Yeah, for sure.
Shelty somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, I agree.
And then Okada and Fletcher are obviously going to, I think, come in 1-2 in that.
Yeah, I could see Garcia getting some decent wins too.
And so you said the top 2 is a crossover, right? So it feels like...
I think Ospreay Fletcher. I think Ospreay leads the Gold League, faces runner-up Fletcher, and then Okada...
Who's runner-up in Gold, you think? I mean, if you're doing what we're saying, and Darby Allin, because normally he'd probably be your pick, but if they do the whole...
I'm going to go with that, and I'm not picking Darby.
I would love to see them try Brody King.
I was
the
kind
crowd's
of Brody
really
King
into
too.
him,
and he's kind of babyface right now, so you can work off
already
Okada.
Picked up a win.
Okay, so I'll call my shot right now. We'll say Fletcher and Ospreay, and then Brody and Okada.
Although Claudio's been booked to look like a monster lately too.
That's true, but I feel like that's gonna be heel on heel.
Right.
With
So go with Brody.
So yeah,
come on, Brody.
I'll call the shot right now. We'll go Ospreay, Fletcher, and then King Okada, and I say the finals we go Okada Ospreay on an AEW stage.
A slightly slimmer Brody King, I thought this week.
And then that'll also tie up Fletcher and Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I say, since it's all one-nighter, Fletcher costs Ospreay the title match. Okada can retain because Ospreay doesn't need that belt. Let's be real. Then we build to a final Ospreay Fletcher match in Australia.
There you go. Is Brody King a close personal friend
win.
of ours? Did we talk to him? I can't remember. We talked to him, right?
He's Uncle Brody.
And it's just weird that he's just a normal dude.
Yeah.
In his glasses.
Yeah. It was odd.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah, it's interesting. But, okay, we've booked the whole C2. Will Washington, whoever's got to do it, do it.
Yep, consult us.
Do the thing.
You can plagiarize us. It's fine.
Plagiarize me. I'm waiting to be plagiarized.
License-free ideas here.
License-free ideas.
For now. Until we get you addicted, and then that's when we hit you with the fees. That's how we do it.
That is how we roll.
Sorry, go ahead. We're going to be
all
here
right,
for
we're
hours.
kicking off with Shelton Benjamin versus Mark Briscoe in the Blue League. And so obviously MVP and Lashes are gone. No interference here. No conglomerating.
Love that. That's one of my favorite things is it's just full of people who can wrestle, and there's nothing but wrestling.
Yeah.
It's great.
It's perfect. And I think they mentioned there's fines in place or something in kayfabe for the interference. So it's not just, hey, don't interfere.
Right.
We'll wave our hands around, but don't interfere.
Even Death Riders don't interfere.
Exactly. Even after the main event, Claudio's there post-match, which is fair game.
Right.
Overhead belly to belly on the floor from Shelton. Briscoe with the Tope Con Hero through the ropes. An avalanche overhead belly to belly from Shelton just absolutely chucks Briscoe across the ring. Froggy bow from Briscoe, which is nice. Cactus elbow from the apron on the floor from Briscoe. Shelton got his knees up on another froggy bow attempt, then he chucks Briscoe around with a couple of Germans. He was landing high.
Really high. The first one was crazy high.
Crazy. Step up knee in the corner, and then a super kick for 2 from Shelton. And another super kick just absolutely murders Briscoe. His super kicks are deadly. It's actually insane to me. And then the T-boom suplex picks up the win for Shelton, so he's the first to get 3 points on the board.
Yeah, another kind of pretty much dominant win for Shelton, which I love, and
that's what Briscoe's here for, so I don't got complaints.
Some vicious offense from him, and a couple things where we had reactions in the moment, right? Which is always
Shelton's just oh my god.
So I thought really fun to watch, and Shelton
Benjamin,
the
best he's ever looked. It's crazy.
He's terrific, and that's what I'm saying. Even though Shelton's kind of old, you're signing guys from WWE and using them better.
This is better than he was ever used, at least
them.
in his return run for WWE.
Right.
Because I know when he was younger, he had that run where he was Intercontinental Champion and whatnot.
So I really enjoyed this. Another big win for the Hurt Syndicate, which I think keeping them strong is the way to go right now.
Absolutely. A solid match to start us off, and the C2's already going strong this year. We're starting in style. I'm glad the leagues are on both shows now. It's a little fresher. Because last year, I think the only Blue League match I remember was Danielson Andrade, and then I think the finals was Danielson and Kingston.
So this was only 11 minutes. I was curious.
Interesting. Which is weird because that's only 2 minutes shorter than some of the
pay-per-view
matches. But I also like having the league shifting around because we have, I think the Gold League match on Collision is Juice and Ospreay, which is an odd combination that I'm oddly really excited for. And so I'm more inclined to seek out Collision for C2 season. I was saying to you, since earlier tonight, we might be able to even watch it tonight, but I was thinking we could try to watch it regularly, like a Sunday night or something.
Yeah.
So then we were having a regular. Even if we only watch the C2 matches, I was saying we can at least do then in Highspots and Restholds do a rundown of
just turbo it,
the C2 matches. Just
I
because
agree.
I do kind of last year I really enjoyed it, but we were really only watching the Gold League. I don't think we caught much of the Collision matches.
And I don't know how much I'm going to keep watching a lot of Raw because it's not really grabbing me anymore.
Exactly.
So I'll
that
free
might
up some
be
time and space.
And then it gives me something else as well.
Yeah.
And then we have more of a scope of the tournament as a whole.
Right.
So I like that. I hope Fletcher gets on Dynamite if they're moving things around.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm happy to see Shelton get in here in the tournament and happy to see him get a win. Seems like Mark will serve a similar purpose to what he was last year, but that's totally fine by me.
He's fun.
We need those guys, right? We need those guys who can take more losses than wins, and he proved last year he's perfect for that role because he's going to churn out quality performances no matter what. And he got a win or two last time, right?
Yes.
So I think Lethal is the one who didn't pick up any wins.
That makes sense.
So he was even really good too. So Sheldon looked like a beast again. Those release Germans were nasty, and super kicks are a straight up death risk. Strong start to the C2 this year, and man, I'm happy they started doing this. It's just a guaranteed period of good stuff. It's the best time of year.
It feels like this and the Iron Survivor come together for me to make it my favorite.
December's a good month. Yeah. The change to the semifinals is interesting too. It allows a Fletcher Ospreay rematch, like we're saying, and that's somewhere I predict we end up. I already called the shot. And I hope we end up there because that's just, the match.
Mm-hmm.
The history speaks for itself. Then we hear from Mercedes Moné on the stage. She's interviewed by Renee. Or sorry, Tony. Maybe I don't know. I thought it was.
It was Tony.
Okay, it was Tony. Never
Put in
mind.
my notes.
Tony claimed people thought Moné's match against Chris Statlander was a match of the year contender. And Moné said it was money. I'm personally, not to spoil picks again, but I still really enjoy more so the Willow Statlander match, the all-out one.
Yeah.
The street fight one.
I'm hoping awesome. Iron Survivor takes everything because the women in that are sweet. You got 3 new powerhouses that I love, right?
Yeah. So, Mercedes praised Statlander for being a tough opponent, but Moné proved she was the best. Then she's gonna fire Camille for not getting the job done. Camille cuts her out saying, "I quit." And Moné's angry about it. The fans chant, "You deserve it."
Who cares?
I don't.
You see what they're trying to do here.
I do, but I said this like weeks ago that it was already too soon. It's too soon to do all this. I think we were just getting kind of they're just still finding their footing, but with this Diesel Shawn Michaels dynamic. Then Camille took a loss to Statlander, and then they started having Moné be super bitchy to her for no reason.
Is Camille's injury a shoot injury?
Maybe.
I don't know either, but anyways.
Well, I don't really care. This is like they started teasing this too soon. Now it's paid off too soon. I don't really care as a result. Like Moné doesn't click here, and I don't think she's bad because her promos aren't great, but she's not the worst. It's just not great. Her matches are still good, but she might have just been like I was saying to you, she might just fit better in WWE.
Oh yeah, she was. I loved her in WWE. Yeah, her character was awesome too. She should go
back when she can.
They just haven't. We know nothing about Camille. We've gotten no personality out of her.
She just came in as Moné's muscle, and then now she's just not.
I don't feel sympathy. There hasn't been enough time, right?
That's
or development.
It's far too soon.
So it's like 100%. So it's not because you think about back to like for me, it's always $1 Million Man and Virgil.
Exactly.
Right?
That's a good one.
And
even
now,
MJF Wardlow, they took a while. If you want to do an in-company example.
And this is just like, I know we're supposed to feel bad for Camille, but I don't really because I don't know anything about her. I've gotten no connection to her personality.
And Moné hasn't been as bad as like DiBiase was.
Right. So it's just they moved way too quickly on this, and I really, really don't care. And Camille hasn't looked good in ring either.
Yeah.
So there's that.
I agree, and I don't think she should be the one to take the title.
No, oh God, no.
Yeah.
And I don't think she will.
No, I hope not. Then we get to Jericho versus Ishii for the ROH title.
This is the kind of the lull.
Yay.
Yeah.
Woo.
Hooray.
Yay.
And I know we had to watch the entire segment from last week over again.
They're highlighting stuff, and they just choose to put that like basically the whole thing again.
I think it was the whole thing. I don't even know if they
maybe cut out the part of the locker room.
Maybe. But yeah, like it was Ishii slowly walking and follow. Like it was bad in the moment. It's bad on a replay.
Yeah. Chops forever. Like
forever.
To the point where I'm just
through a break
crying at the screen, begging them to stop.
Remember, you're like, they better not still be doing that.
That was late. That's coming up. Yeah, like they're just chopping each other relentlessly, and because we saw their match a couple years back, and because we saw the Suzuki match, I know where this is going, and I'm just like, I swear I was about to cry. Like I'm just audibly saying over and over, just begging them to stop because they just won't stop.
Nope.
And then they just start doing a bunch of German suplexes, which was at least different. DT on the apron from Jericho was solid. Now then they do some more chops, which move to slaps, and they're slapping when we get back to from the commercial break. I kid you not, they were probably slapping each other for 3 minutes.
Oh, for sure, probably 4 or 5.
They did that with the Suzuki match, dude. They were chopping each other through a commercial break, and if this was happening when they came to us, like, and we went, I would be so pissed.
Let's go get food. Let's go check merch.
Honestly, like 100%. Like I was just like,
and I get it,
pleading for them to stop.
They're tough, but it's not fun to watch.
It's not. I don't think it comes across as tough. I think it's just stupid and it's boring.
It was.
And I don't know if Jericho thinks this makes him look tough in his old age, but it's just bad. It's not good wrestling. It's not
my favorite.
It's just, I hate it so much. And this is part of like, Ishii's not. In his old age, I think he's still fine, but this is the worst of Ishii, for sure. Superplex from Jericho, but Ishii stumbles back to his feet. Then he no-sells some forearms and hits a lariat. Another slow strike exchange, for the love of God. Jericho hits a German suplex. Juice Effect and a Codebreaker only get a 1 count. Great, no, so I don't really care. Codebreaker and a lariat from Ishii for 2. Ishii hits an Enziguri, goes for a lariat. Jericho catches him with the Juice Effect. Another Juice Effect for the win. Mercifully, this is over.
Yeah.
I did not like this.
So this sounds harsh. Ring of Honor, company I don't care about.
Kill it.
Title I don't care about.
Kill it.
Wrestler I don't care about in Jericho.
Don't kill
Used
him.
to be a
That's too
huge
funny.
fan of Ishii. At current, Ishii, not a big fan. It's just not for me or you, I don't think. And it's just not fun to watch. The latter part was better once they started wrestling and not just chopping each other, but not enough to like it overall, right? The Judas effects, I will say, looked better than a lot of times when he hits them. And that's probably just because Ishii's like, go ahead and lay it in. I
And
don't
because
care.
Noam Dar isn't wrestling.
But Dynamite has way too much going on, storyline, tournament-wise, to be giving
waste
time to
with
this.
Yeah.
This doesn't belong here.
It's an absolute waste.
Not a fan.
I wasn't something I was excited for at all. And it wasn't great in execution either. It was bad. The shtick Jericho does with the old Japanese guys, where he just chops them or slaps them for over half the match, is so boring, and it doesn't go as hard as I think that he thinks it is.
I agree.
I think that's part of him not wanting to retire. Like, he thinks this is giving him that credibility where he's taking all these hard strikes and bleeding from his chest, and that's all cool and all. Like, it's just like, to a certain extent, dude.
If it were Raw, so I watched Dynamite and Raw differently. If it were Raw, I would be like 30-second skip, they're still chopping. 30-second skip, they're still chopping. 30-second skip.
Back from commercial break,
right?
they're still
That's
chopping.
how I get through Raw so fast, because stuff
Right.
like that I just don't need to see.
We're just, yeah.
I watch it all. I just don't enjoy it.
The main saving grace this had was that I wasn't looking forward to it at all, so it didn't disappoint me.
It delivered.
Yeah. Although delivered sounds positive, so I don't
Delivered on expectations.
know.
Yeah.
The second half is better, but that's just when you have such a low bar.
Yeah.
Better is it's all relative. This Jericho run is such a waste of time, and how he's made it through the whole year astonishes me, with multiple title reigns, no less.
Yep. Well,
Like-
titles that don't matter for companies that don't matter.
One of them's fake, and one of them's Ring of Honor.
Right.
So,
So go ahead.
yeah, he will come up at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Then we get a Swerve Anand interview. Swerve says he'll bounce back from his loss, and he said he's never been hit so hard by somebody the way Lashley hit him. Caster comes by laughing in the background. So Swerve wonders what he's laughing about. Max reminded them that they're in the same building where the Acclaimed won the tag titles from Swerve and Our Glory.
Mm-hmm.
Caster called himself the best wrestler alive. He mentioned Swerve's house being on fire. He did he started doing a little rap. Swerve pushed him against the wall, and then he started beating him up.
Yeah, I like
the viciousness from Swerve, and I kind of like the heelish behavior from
exactly.
Caster.
I like Caster showing some edge, because it sure looks like they're going with the heel turn for him. Maybe even hurt Syndicate. I don't know.
I can see that.
And Swerve losing his cool and getting vicious and violent is always something I want to see. So I thought this was a good little segment.
Yeah, and
Like, Swerve's fuse is really short because he just lost to Lashley, and Caster's, bringing out more of that heel persona, and Swerve's just not in the mood, and that makes sense to me.
yeah, and I liked that he was kind of doing those Acclaimed catchphrases with the solo spin,
Mhm.
like the best wrestler alive and everyone loves, I think, him, he said, or
Mhm.
something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember what it was. But maybe it's a brief feud for Swerve, or it's just a one-off. But since Caster was recruited by MVP, I could see it coming back
Yeah.
around, or like this being a mini feud that draws Swerve back to the Syndicate.
Mhm.
Because I agree, I could see Caster joining, and that splits him with Bowens, and then that could be a
I just
storyline
hope
too.
Bowens doesn't get lost in the shuffle, because I like him too.
I feel like if Caster joins them, he's a little less prone to being lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, agree.
Then we hear from Hangman Page. Shivani's in the ring with him. He mentioned Page losing to White again, and like he's like, I'm just saying that, like, because Hangman, he's like, I'm just saying the facts, because he knows Hangman's super sensitive,
Volatile.
volatile. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the word I was gonna say. So I like that Shivani's like, we're like, I'm just stating it. You don't gotta beat me up. About Hangman attacking Daniels and Wheeler Yuta later on, he mentioned Hangman trying to help Christian secure his title match. Hangman said if Daniels gets in his way again, he'll make sure he doesn't get back up. He said if Christian held up his end of the deal, then Page would have been stuffing on Thanksgiving with the world title around his waist. So is that to imply Cage would have had his instant title match then, and then Page would get an instant title match?
I guess.
Which I thought was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the deal they made.
Yeah, I don't know.
Sure. But I just thought it was a little odd. He said Christian failed, and his intention has always been to be the AEW World Champion. He said it never should have been Swerve's, Bryan's, or Moxley's, and it should have been Christian's, because that championship has always been his. Jay White comes up for the interruption to remind Hangman he lost his match, and he lost the last 2 times they faced each other. Now it's like 5-1 or something, obviously with Hangman's win being the tarnished one. He said if anybody deserves the shot at the title, it will not be Hangman, it'll be Switchblade. He said he'll give Page another taste of Switchblade right here tonight if he wants it. But then Pac comes from behind and attacks White, sends him into the barricade. Page is kind of having standoff with Pac. Yuta attacks from behind with a chop block. White gets back in the ring and sends Yuta out of the ring. Suplex to send Pac out. But then Hangman decks White with a clothesline. Shafir's in the ring, decks Page with a briefcase shot. White avoids it and looks like he's going to hit a Blade Runner to Shafir, which got a good reaction.
Yeah.
Then Moxley shows up, puts him in a sleeper. Then Shafir puts this like headlock type hold on him, and White passes out. Then they stomp out White. Briefcase shot from Pac to White, which they also have history, so that's nice. And Page and Switchblade are left down.
Yeah, you go ahead because I made minimal notes, so I'm going to piggyback off you.
All right, because weren't you phone noting for a lot?
I was, and then I really shortened this one down. So I was like, oh yeah, all that happened. So I'll collect my thoughts while you talk about it.
I like this. I always love me some Switchblade and Hangman together. We were just saying they can never go wrong with that combination. And they kind of elaborated on the Full Gear ending, which I thought was helpful.
They did. That was helpful.
And so I like Hangman and Christian striking a deal here. It kind of makes sense. And Hangman stated he won the title at the beginning of the year, so I like him. He's kind of, in his eyes, he's finally getting back on track, right? White makes a good case for a title shot, given he beat Hangman twice, and Hangman's kind of gunning for the title. And it seems they're setting up a triple threat, which I guess will be a four-way. I'm excited about that. Those are like my three of my favorite guys. And I also thought it was nice to see the Death Riders going after some heavy hitters instead of torturing goobers relentlessly.
Yeah.
So I like this. I think it works, and I'm excited.
In a way, White's right. So I don't know if Page should be in the match too, because he has just beaten him twice, right? But yeah, it puts together a really interesting match, and Christian will be good in there too.
I think because he's not the focal point, it'll be solid, because I think him challenging Swerve for the title solo was kind of odd.
And I think Hangman will end up having problems with everybody, probably, because I can't see Christian holding up any end of the deal or anything like that, right? Absolutely. Not that he's going to win, but yeah, so, and it is definitely Death Riders like stepping up their targets, right? Instead of all the, not jobbers, but the low card guys.
Yeah, and any threats to Moxley's title, taking them out. So I like that.
I'm not sure the Death Riders thing is working fully for me, but I'm still
in what sense?
Willing to give it. I don't know. I still don't know what their problem with current AEW is. They've stated we want to blow it up, but I don't quite know why.
Well, I think part of it was everyone sitting around and doing nothing, and so then
but are
them
you
beating everybody up, and now
that Jay White's doing nothing and Page is doing nothing?
Well, they're clearly gunning for the title, so that's just, I think, Moxley keeping his top spot.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it hasn't been, since they said that, there hasn't been a lot of, like, now it just feels like they're just a heel faction, like any other, kind of. I don't know. I still
like them.
Yeah. I'm not out on them. I'm just kind of not fully bought in either, I guess.
Well, a year ago, we had the Devil storyline, so
it is
take
helping.
Your pick.
It is making me care more about Claudio and Yuta, so in that sense, it's effective. And it's made me like Shafir. So
you want the Devil back?
No, I do not.
We could do that again.
No, thank you.
Moxie's the Devil.
Pass.
But he's the babyface.
I'll pass.
And Darby Allin's the heel.
Right. That's what it would be.
Yep. But Claudio's music hits as we're rolling right into Claudio versus Ricochet for the Gold League. Claudio dropped Ricochet on the barricade pretty hard. Suicide dive from Ricochet. Claudio caught Ricochet with a backbreaker and nailed a running boot for 2. Ricochet went for a springboard, got caught midair with an uppercut for 2. Claudio locked Ricochet in a sharpshooter. He switched to a crossface when Ricochet was trying to call the ropes. Ricochet was able to counter into a pin for 2. Then Claudio smashed him with an uppercut for 2. Ricochet countered a cold bomb into a hurricane for 2, kind of like a high stack one as well. And he got crotched on the barricade, which looked fun.
It did.
And then off that, he beats the 10 count back in the ring. Claudio just smashes him with a lariat to pick up the win again.
Yeah, and you pointed out he won with the lariat last time, right?
With Darby, yeah.
So yeah, I thought Claudio picking up another really good win. I wasn't quite expecting that outcome, to be honest. And I thought they would rehab win Ricochet, and Claudio doesn't win all the time. It kind of seemed, but Claudio looked like a beast again. Good match. Claudio dominates quite a bit, and Ricochet continues to lose. So is it possible? I know I keep throwing everybody in that group. Does he need to find some edge and find some whatever and join Hertzen to get to unlock something interesting?
I don't know if he's that interesting. I think he was just cool in the ring, and I don't know if he's ever been.
But you brought him in as this high-profile free agent, and he's not doing anything. I feel like it has to be part of a larger story, or should be part of a larger story. Maybe not has to be.
I don't know. I don't see him as a heel.
I don't either, but we never have, so I'm all for trying.
I guess so.
But anyways, and then he could tone down the high flying stuff, and can he do other stuff? I don't know.
But I thought we were like in some of the matches where he tones down the high flying stuff.
I know
he's
it's not the
interesting.
best. So anyways,
I don't
Claudio
know.
looks like a monster again. Ricochet, another loss.
Yeah. I was expecting a bit more, but it was good for what it was. They had a cool styles clash. Claudio looked like a beast. Looking forward to more of him. Ricochet was solid, but between this and Takeshita, he's not looked as hot.
No.
But yeah.
And he can't rely on character work and mic work either. So
No. And it kind of sucks with the Death Rider story that Claudio will be little out of it, I think, just because he's going to be in this a lot. So I don't think he'll be as involved when the Death Riders come to town.
Yes.
Then we get a Kyle Fletcher interview. Callis talks about them leaving no stone unturned when they didn't just beat Ospreay. They decimated him, left him in a heap. He said Kyle is better than Will in every way, and they're just getting started. Fletcher brags about being Will, and he said he'll prove in the Continental Classic that he's better than Will in every way, and he'll prove it on Saturday on Collision, which is the match with Mordos we talked about. This was a solid follow-up. Callis is good as usual. I think Fletcher, again, just proves he's a really strong promo now. He speaks with great confidence, and he's just got his voice now.
Yep.
And I think he's really great. I'm excited to see his C2 work.
Pretty standard stuff here. I thought they both did a good job. It's just to be like, hey, I'm going to win the tournament sort of thing.
Simple stuff, but he just sounds really good now. Then we move on to the Adam Cole segment of the week.
Hooray, because we have to have that, because,
which it's
not enough going on this show.
I'm not hating on Cole. It's just this storyline is just not working. And we've been saying that.
I'm inching closer to hating on Cole, I'm not going to lie. I just don't.
Well, I can't hate on him because he's not bad. It's not on him.
I guess.
He's not doing bad work. He's got bad material.
I guess. I don't know if he's doing great work either, to be honest.
I don't think he's doing great work, but I don't think he's doing bad work. And I'm not saying it means he's bad or anything.
He's just not cool anymore.
I know. It makes me sad.
I know.
Because, talking about Black and Gold, that was... He was cool.
He was cool.
That was the time. Even Bobby Fish was cool.
He was.
That sounds mean. I'm sorry, Bobby Fish. He's in a faction with Brock Anderson right now, so he's not really cool either.
Awesome.
In MLW.
Awesome.
And he's bald.
Oh, yeah, I forgot Brock Anderson was over there.
It's him, Brock Anderson, CW Anderson, the guy from ECW.
Yeah.
The same guy.
Yeah.
And some other dude that
cool.
I don't remember the name of. His name's
I haven't checked out MLW in a while.
something. I don't know. Anyways, Cole said he's sick and tired of playing this game. He said MJ's not a man because he's a little bitch.
Yep. Used up your one.
I forgot to put a trigger warning. I am sorry, everybody. Cole said after what Max did to Roddy, when he gets his hands on him, he'll beat him within an inch of his pathetic life. O'Reilly's music hits and he comes out. He said he told Cole that he fought Max and it didn't work out. He said it's exactly like he said. He said he should fight Max, that being Kyle. Cole told Kyle to stop. He said he doesn't want his friends to fight his battles because Cole wants to be the one to fight MJF. And Kyle said he's not doing this for Cole because he's doing it for Roddy. MJF then appears on the Tron playing a piano and said he's not worried about them because he's only concerned with the Dynamite dozen Battle Royal next week. Cole said he'll be the first to declare entry, and O'Reilly declares as the second.
Why is nobody else declaring the other 10 spots right away? If that's what you're just have to, I do declare, and you're in.
I know it's basically just become MJF's token thing, but really, in reality, what's the point of the ring?
So the only thing I liked about this was that it adds stakes for that Battle Royal, because now they both really want the next shot at MJF. So there's an added.
It does add some inherent stakes, yeah.
But I find myself sort of just glazing over for this and not really paying attention. So I don't even like how O'Reilly's fitting in and I just don't really care about any of this. So
that's fair.
I kind of just tune out a little bit, I think, and don't really have a lot of thoughts on it.
Just because the logical errors are so glaring.
It doesn't catch my interest at all.
It doesn't work anymore, yeah.
No, I agree. So this is more of the same. I don't care. Other than, okay, cool, it adds a bit of stakes for a couple guys in that Battle Royal. I like when there's stories furthered or created in a Battle Royal. So there's one that we've got ready to go at least, I guess.
Yeah, I imagine they'll work together and then...
Right.
I don't...
Not.
Yeah, then have to fight, I guess. It was fine, but the story just needs to die. It's weird they keep going for it, and we just need to kill it. Cole can be a babyface, that's fine. He's been a solid babyface before. It's just not in this story, not against MJF. It doesn't make sense. It still doesn't make sense. Kyle shouldn't be here either. He said Cole's friends shouldn't be fighting his battles before proceeding to say he'll do exactly that thing.
Right.
I don't care if it's for Roddy. The difference is negligible.
And if you want to get to Cole MJF, if your heart's set on that, then get to it and get it over and move on. But it seems like they keep finding ways to like move the goalpost further and further.
Yeah.
So we just keep, we're going to get another segment next week and the next week. And it's just too much. Like,
Exactly.
just get to what you want to do and get it over with. So everybody involved can go do something else.
We just need to kill it. And this shouldn't have happened. We should have just left it at Double or Nothing.
Yep.
Then we get Jamie Hayter versus Queen Aminata in the grueling semifinals of the Wrestle Dynasty International Women's Cup.
And there's even a line we went back to listen because it's Excalibur saying,
"That's the semifinals or opening round,
semifinals and opening round, like all in one sentence." And like, that's ridiculous. That sentence is ridiculous.
I love to think we have going on right now the month-long C2 in the semifinals would be like this thing you've like been racking up points for, and then they just get placed in the semifinals.
You're immediately in the semis.
The other one was Willow and
don't know.
Serena Deeb.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
poor Serena Deeb.
Nice. They both trade chops and slaps in the corner. Suplex in the turnbuckles from Hayter. Nice snap suplex from Aminata. She hits her like that basement shin kick against the ropes, which sends Hayter
looked amazing
to the floor. Looks awesome. Back in the ring, that got a 2 count. I wrote a 2 kick. I don't think that's right.
No. I like how you corrected, even though you're never going to look at these notes again. I do the exact same thing.
I just don't like
that.
Has to
being
be right.
There. I know.
I don't like that being there. What if I do look back at it?
I just had Minu instead of Mina, and I fixed it, even though I knew what I meant. And I would never read it wrong.
No, but
I didn't do the same.
Yeah.
You are my son.
Yeah. Fall away powerbomb from Aminata, and the Hayter gets the win for Hayter. Lights go out. There's a spotlight on the stage. Julia Hart's not there.
But
she never is there. No, I think it's God's return to wrestling. You know, he wrestled with Shawn Michaels in 2006.
And it's Vince. And Vince is in AEW, and then we stopped watching, and we flipped to WWE.
If I was only stuck with WWE, even though it's not as bad, I don't know if I'd watch wrestling.
Wow, that's strong. I thought this picked up once Aminata got rolling. I thought the first couple minutes were kind of slow. She continues to impress me, and I'm going to say it again, put her in Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah.
Just so she gets on TV, even if it's not in matches. We need more Aminata, I think.
Exposure.
Pretty good match by the end. And then I guess it's simple mind games by Hart where she doesn't even have to be there at all.
I imagine she'll factor in and maybe Hayter loses to Willow in the finals.
But I said it before, this is now like House of Black are kind of baby faces. And Hart, is she still in that group or is she on her own?
She's a heel. Because she's still doing the dark thing. And then also Brody King was in, he was calling her in the vignettes, right? Like
on
the
that's
phone.
true.
So like.
So she's still in, but doing her own thing, I guess? I don't know.
I guess Blackpool did that. So I guess it's fair game.
So a solid women's match on this show, but this is what you get, generally.
I thought it was pretty good. It was hard-hitting as I expected. Aminata, that kick was gnarly, and she's pretty cool.
She is cool.
Hayter was good as usual, and I had no doubt she was winning. And so, like I said, I think it's her and Willow in the so-called finals of this.
Mm-hmm.
And then Julia Hart plays a hand in that.
I would imagine so,
this
right?
Feud. Which again, I don't really care about that feud either. It just seems like Hayter should be doing better things.
I agree. They did not bring her back as like gone a long time, super popular babyface when she left, and it's just kind of like, yep, she's back, and she's back to the mid card.
Yeah, she was on the pre-show of All In, which I think is fine because, like I said, you can put more stock into the pre-show, and that was like still a huge show.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's okay, but because I don't think Saraya should have done an open challenge on the main card.
No.
But still, it's just odd. Then we get a Mina Shirakawa interview. She says she knew the day would come where May would turn on her, and she was waiting for a long time. She said Mariah could do it to her since Mariah did it to Storm. She said this was the real Mariah May, and she said May is so selfish she has to kill anybody that comes close to her. She said if that's the real Mariah May, then she'll introduce May to the real Mina. Then May attacks her from behind with a ball to the head, and she said, I want Mina, because I guess the thing is like, we want Mina is
the
like
full
the hashtag
form.
or the more Mina.
Yeah.
And she stands tall, and yeah.
We mentioned it earlier. I like this because Mina comes across as a smart babyface. She's like, I'm smart enough to watch Mariah May turn on everybody she gets close to, and she's close to me.
Even though
so
she loves May, she's at least aware enough to do that.
Right.
So I like that too.
And I thought she spoke well enough. And
her English isn't perfect, but I think she's good enough.
She took her time, and
she has her own way of, like she has her style.
And she's got that charisma, right? There's something about her that you just kind of want to pay attention to. And then I thought the attack and beatdown by May was pretty good too. She's really good at looking vicious, right?
Yeah, vicious. And also I think she just does a really good job of coming across as like psycho obsessed with staying on top. Like the title is everything. Like even the way she talks about like you either got to be champion or you should be dead, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was something like that, right? And so just I like that that's her thing, and that's the perfectly logical motivation. Like, if you don't want to be on top, why are you here, kind of thing.
And I think they are going to, there's the real opportunity to build a really strong women's feud, and they're not great at doing that. So I'm really hopeful that this can be one, right? And that hopefully whatever match we have pays off, and that
it'll
it's
be
as
at
good
Winners
as we hope.
Coming. I think they advertised it.
So yeah, I like this.
And we're approaching 1 year of May in AEW, which is crazy given what she's done already. I think she's already champion.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll be talking about her at the end of the year.
I don't remember the exact date, but I remember her debuting towards the end of last year. Because I remember her first match was against Aminata on the first Dynamite of this year.
Right.
So I think it's just crazy how good she is and how much she's evolved in almost a year.
Like, she's obviously in the running for women wrestler.
I think she is.
Woman wrestler of the year.
Think she is. I
don't know who else is in there.
I'm Perez.
Roxanne, for sure.
I think she was the front runner for a time, but I think May just eclipsed her. So I think she just got more prominent. I think May takes women's wrestler, takes breakout for sure. All in one fell swoop.
Maybe.
I mean,
we'll see.
The only contention for breakout star for me is Fletcher, but
that's who I was thinking.
But I think Fletcher's turn has come
Trick
later.
Williams?
No.
Just kidding.
No.
Just kidding.
I think Fletcher for most of the year, and I have this in my best stuff, so I don't know why I'm talking about it now, but like I think most of the year he was just like turning out good matches but taking losses. I think May, her ascension and breakout was built up throughout the year because she was in that prominent storyline with Storm. So for me, I think she really feels like, and because she's also ascended to the main title, whereas Fletcher, that's just not happening yet. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But anyways, we'll get there eventually.
In due time.
Then we get a Wrestle Dream rematch as our main event, which is Brody King, Darby Allin in the Continental Classic Gold League. King caught Darby's foot, and he does like that. He backflips him, kind of like Ricochet does, where he lands on his feet. And I thought Darby was doing
extra rotation.
But yeah, he does an extra rotation so that Darby lands on his back, followed by 2 send-ons, which gets a 2 count. That was crazy looking.
And again, it's Darby coming in with all these pre-existing injuries from the car crash, right? So he is debilitated, and Brody is just crushing him.
I'd like this, if he takes a beating here, and then he could maybe get his ass kicked by, can't do Claudio again or Brody again next week. So I don't know who, like Ospreay maybe kicks his ass.
Could be.
Or
Juice gets a win.
Juice. I mean, I don't think that's impossible.
No, I don't either.
Especially if
if they tell that story that we're saying with Darby, he loses to everybody. Because he's broken.
Like that. And then he
comes back needs time better to recover.
He comes back better and he beats Moxley.
Right.
Which some people complain like, oh, he just lost everybody. How's he gonna beat Moxley?
But it's because he's debilitated.
And it's the story we're telling here.
Once he recovers, he's at full strength.
Yeah. King sees Darby on the top rope and chops him just to send him falling to the floor. He hits the apron on the way down. Darby's hanging in the tree of woe, and King gets a cannonball for 2. There's an avalanche code red from Darby for 2, kind of getting back into things. Somersault sent on through the ropes from Darby shortly after a coffin drop to the outside, then a coffin drop to King laid on the floor, which that's got her just
looked good.
Going down the floor like that. The finish comes when King catches Darby out of a coffin drop into a sleeper. Darby's able to do the Bret Hart counter into a pin for 2. King holds on a sleeper, then releases it just to murder Darby with a Gonzo bomb. The return finally just absolutely drills him, and King picks up his first win in the tournament. So good.
Like,
for him.
I get excited when he picks him up into the Canadian backbreaker. Right? I'm like, yes, do it, and
just
then boom,
down. Then Claudio comes to the ring with the chair, and I like this. King, kind of out of respect for Darby, steps back in the ring with a chain to kind of ward off Claudio. So I kind of like that as.
Me too.
Because they shook hands at the end of their last match and the beginning of this match. I like that they've kind of established this competitive respect.
Yes.
So I think that's kind of cool, especially if House of Black are babyfaces. I think it makes sense.
And it's like, I just killed him with a Gonzo bomb. How lame are you to come in?
Yeah.
Just not, maybe not right now.
Then we get King versus Claudio next week, which is going to be meat.
Yes.
Meat.
So this match, like, I really enjoyed it. And it's other than King winning, because you wouldn't normally expect that, it was what you expect, right? You're like, Brody's just going to kill him the whole match, and then Darby finds a way to win, but we don't get that part. I just never tire of people beating the heck out of Darby Allin, I guess, right? Which is one of his unique things. Mm-hmm. Commentary dropping out in the middle of this really highlighted the silence of the crowd, though, which I thought was weird.
Yeah, that was a little weird.
Big win for Brody King. He looked awesome, and then I liked, like you said, he looked cool standing by the fallen Allin in the face of Claudio with a chair. So you're sort of establishing them as a face, or at least tweeners. So yeah, I'm
and establishing a bit of animosity between them for next week's match.
Yeah, pretty satisfying main event for me. Mm-hmm. And I'm really I love Brody King, so I'm really happy for him to pick up a big win here.
Another match we got for next week was Switchblade and Pac. which is non-tournament.
Should be
but that sounds
awesome.
awesome. Anyways, these guys always work well together, and this is no different. The formula was exactly what you'd expect, but that's not a complaint. Brody's a monster. Darby's always going to enhance that look, and just King got the win here, so that's nice. They had the match at Wrestle Dream not too long ago, and I'm not complaining about them running it back. It's just they got some good chemistry, and I'm glad King kind of got his win back there.
Me too.
Pretty dominantly, so
Yes.
that was nice. And it was nice to see the respect they've kind of cultivated here, shaking hands before the match, and then also Brody kind of not protecting him, but like just kind of letting him rest after he just murdered him, So I kind of like that, and nice to see the return to the Gonzo Bomb. That kind of adds credit to our
what is it?
story for
Destination
Darby.
Hellhole and Drill Claws. Those are the 3 things I need to see a lot of.
Yeah,
in my
all
life.
pretty similar too, which
Yes.
I think is kind of funny.
Yes, they are. Overall, other than Jericho Ishii, I enjoyed everything in ring. Nothing absolutely blew me away, but I thought the tournament's off to a really good start.
I think my favorite was the opener, but the main event and the women's match.
It's close for me, yeah. And I liked it because a couple matches didn't have the result I would have expected. That's always cool, right? To not know what's going to happen. I like the Mina May segment, but have no interest in Cole MJF. It sort of balances out. I would same as pay-per-view. I said this was a B show. Like, I liked a bunch of stuff on it, but nothing was absolutely amazing.
It was a solid show, though. We're back in style with the return of the C2, always delivering us 3 quality matches. Like, can't complain about any of them, and I think Shelton Briscoe is probably my favorite. Shelton is just looking his best lately.
Yeah.
And I'm absolutely loving it. Claudio Ricochet and Brody Darby were great, too. I think Claudio Ricochet was probably my least favorite. And Brody Darby was just, those are always good together. The women's match was also strong given the standard, so I really like that. Hangman Switch with Death Rider segment I really enjoyed. And I'm intrigued by how that's going to go. Cole segment was the opposite for me. It's just a miss every time.
It is.
Jericho Ishii was just bad, and probably one of my least favorite matches of the year. And Monet segment was nothing I cared for. So I agree, B show. And I think it was just short of one grade higher.
Yeah,
if we had a couple things that were better.
Agree. All right, so let's keep this ball rolling, and we'll take a break from analysis and go into trivia. It's a segment that we like to call Off the Top of His Head. All right, I was telling you, even though this is going to be a lengthy episode, I feel like the trivia might be a bit longer because the questions are long, because I'm going with great wrestling promos. And I found out that Cage Match, bless them, have transcribed or pretty much transcribed a bunch of promos. So I'm going to be reading them because I know as soon as you hear a voice, if I were to do audio version, it would help you, right? So
okay. I see how the questions are long.
I feel like it's ranging from like super obvious ones to ones you'll get with the context of the chunk I've picked to ones you might not get at all, right? So that's kind of what I'm going for. Sorry, just had a second where I thought video wasn't running. It is. Okay. So let me finish my chunk, and then you'll go. And I have the dates of things, and sometimes they even provide context of like where it was and what was going on. So here's the first one. You ready? I got 15. Number 1. I told you, didn't I tell you I would win this tournament if it took everything in me? I would give my blood. You know I'd give my blood. I've done it 1,000 times over. I will probably do it 1,000 times over again. I will spill every last drop that I have to win this, and to take away from him, to burn his world down. He broke into my home. He threatened my family. We had to leave. We had to leave our home. Do you understand what that's done to me? And he never paid for it. He never paid for it, and they loved him for it. I gave them everything I had. It's been 5 years. I gave them every damn thing that I had, and they chose him. They chose him. Hangman Page, when? Do you know?
This year.
After what?
Owen.
Yes, after defeating Jay White in the Owen Hart promo on Swerve. I started out real easy for you. Ready? I think this one's easy too. Number 2. Do I have everybody's attention now?
Pipe bomb.
I feel a little bit of recapping is in order. If you didn't see the show last week, and I didn't watch either because I wasn't on it, I was suspended by Vincent K. McMahon. I was suspended because the week prior to that, I got into a little bit of trouble for some things I said. I didn't get in trouble because I announced that on July 7th, my contract ends. I didn't just get in trouble because I said, not only am I going to defeat John Cena, but I'm going to leave with the oh-so-precious WWE title, making all future champions completely irrelevant. So as you said early on, that is the pipe bomb.
2011 something.
So 2011, November 7th. So now talking about, July 11th. They've reversed it. You know when you can't tell if it's month, day, or day, month.
I don't like that, yeah.
So CM Punk's tied to this one too. You know, I used to love CM Punk too. And I get that you guys want to boo me. I'm not exactly the easiest person in the world to like, but I would just like you to give me an opportunity here. You know, CM Punk, he showed a photograph. He showed a photograph last week, and he said that for him, it was just another Friday. Sorry?
MJF.
When? Do you know?
2022.
Yeah, after being challenged to dog collar match.
Yeah, I knew it was something around then.
All right, so I won't finish that one.
I think it was the one in, I think it was in Daly's place.
Could be.
And it was the one where like he was wearing the white suit and he bloodied him.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's that promo.
If I know anything about Eddie Guerrero, I know that he would hate to see me in this ring crying like a little baby. But Eddie, I'm sorry, I just can't help because I just can't believe you're gone. I've been thinking all day, you know, and I really don't know what to say. I don't even know if I'm the right man to be out here to speak about Eddie Guerrero, but I want you to know 2 things about Eddie. The first thing is he loved his family. He loved his family. You know, Eddie had a lot of demons. He had a lot of troubles in his past, and he fought his way back from hell to win back his family. And I respect the hell out of him for doing that. The second thing, and you guys already know this, but I want to make it clear. The second thing is Eddie Guerrero loved this business.
Ray?
No.
Benoit?
No. It was somewhat of a surprise, and this
Batista?
is... Yeah, Batista. Right? And what year would that be?
05.
Yes, correct.
Like November or something.
This one I think you'll get from context. For 2.5 years, Tommy Dreamer, we fought an epic battle of mythic proportions. And I could tell... Sorry, I'm interjecting here. Just the vocabulary this guy uses.
Is it Raven?
It is Raven.
Yeah.
I'll finish it because I like it. We had a friendship based on love and a hatred based on friendship. You scarred my face. You battered me unmercifully, and you took my girl. But the one thing that you could never do was beat me, Tommy. You could never beat me, and I always pinned you. 2.5 years, Tommy. After I came to ECW to exercise your demons, it was time for you to graduate. So I gave you your victory. Nice. Next one. I didn't even know how long this has been going on with me and you, Chris. To the Lost. I'm trying to drown my demons again, but they know how to swim, folks. I don't know how I'm going to act or what I'm going to do Sunday. I don't even know the rules of this, but what I do know is that you, Chris, have brought me back to a place I don't want to be. You brought me back to a place where I'm drinking. You brought me back to a place where I'm not calling anybody. You brought me back to a place where I sit in a dark room and I just think bad thoughts. And then I start feeling like a kid again. And I feel I don't deserve this. And I feel like things aren't going my way. And then you burnt me, Chris. You scarred my face, Chris.
Who did he fireball?
You're right. I was going to say Fireball.
Who did he fireball?
Remember earlier I said this person may come up. We talked about missing him.
Who the hell did he fireball?
Who cuts amazing promos and has a history of demons.
Jake Roberts.
And you had in the news this week, I think.
Oh, I'm not even gonna look. I don't remember.
Or was it a news, or were we just talking about him?
See, did he?
One of our favorite promos who's missing from AEW right now. Regularly and battles demons and is working hard to get in shape apparently.
Eddie?
Yeah, Eddie Kingston.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. I was gonna say I can't remember if he fireballed Action Andretti, but I don't think we care about him that much.
This one you'll actually get probably in the first 2 words. Hard times are when the auto workers are out of work and they tell them go home, and hard times are when a man has worked at a job 30 years. 30 years. They give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say, hey, a computer took your place, daddy. That's hard times. That's hard times. And Ric Flair, you put hard times on this country by taking me out. Sorry, I'm replacing his name, obviously. That's hard times. So who is it?
Dusty.
Dusty. Do you know the year? Care to guess? Or
84.
The Federation? 85?
NWA.
No, Mid-Atlantic.
Well,
So
that's NWA.
So here's another one. I like this one too. I am out here in Japan, wasting my life away for what? In a global pandemic. I could be at home, but no, it wouldn't be worth it. Sacrifice, 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 and it'll be worth it. You will get both of those belts when you finally main event Wrestle Kingdom. It'll be worth it. But if I can't get it done, and all the time, all of the sacrifices, they're not worth it. So why am I here? I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. I'm not going to do this anymore. Not for any of you. Not for any of you. Not for any of these people out there. I can't do it for myself. Then it was not worth doing. It's not worth me being here.
Jay White?
Yes, Jay White.
Nice.
After his loss to Ibushi in 2021. A 48-minute match or something that he lost. This one, you probably will see if you get it from just the talk. Thank you, Ring of Honor. Thank you, Eddie Edwards. Thank you, God. And why don't you shut the hell up with your
Davey Richards?
No, your
Damn it.
ass-kissing horse crap. You want honesty, Davey? The honest is, if you step down to that ring and you walk here, I'm going to take you apart, MFer, but real word. Yes, that's right, boys. You hold him back, Davey, as a matter of fact. I think it's time for some real honesty. And I think it's time for you and take your little MMA group to finish the jerk fest in the back. Because what matters tonight is that I'm back. And mark my words, in 2012, I will take Ring of Honor World title from you, and then I'm going to hold this goddamn company hostage. Because my name is and I'm the Antichrist of pro wrestling. Merry Christmas, bitch.
Oh, the Antichrist thing I should know.
I know, I thought that might get you. Amazing talker.
Daniels?
No, we love him. He's in WWE now, but I never see him.
Bobby Roode?
No. He's on the show I don't watch. Good Canadian boy, too.
Canadian boy on SmackDown?
Kevin Steen.
Oh.
Right?
That makes sense.
Now I'm trying to hit a little TNA as well. They just gave me a live mic on a pay-per-view, so if nobody minds, I'd like to get a few things off my chest. Number one, we have two types of wrestlers here. We have the TNA diehards who come here and entertain and bust their ass for the fans every night of the week, and we got superstars who think they can come and do whatever they want, however they want. We have superstars who not only screw us, the hardworking wrestlers in TNA, but they screw each and every fan who paid to see them, no matter how old they are. So let me make this real simple. Let me explain TNA to you. TNA is the Motor City Machine Guns coming down here and busting their ass, trying to get a break in the business.
Motor City Machine Guns?
TNA is Black Machismo doing his damnedest to entertain every single person in the building and showing us what's up.
AJ Styles.
TNA is me coming in here and doing what he does the best, wrestle and be the best damn professional wrestler in the world. TNA is a bunch of hardworking young athletes who are just looking to change the wrestling world. Guys who held down this business while others profiteer from it. TNA is the guys who come in here and risk their lives on scaffolds and wires while other people show up and pad their pensions. So I'll tell you what, Scott Hall, Chico.
Oh, Samoa Joe.
I'll tell you what, kiss my ass, you're a punk.
I do know this one because I think Scott Hall no-showed this match.
And so obviously Samoa Joe.
They let him cut a shoot promo.
Do it way better, but yeah, he's amazing. I'm pretty sure you'll get this one. You can't fool the children, John, for they are the foundation of what tomorrow shall bring. Their ears are so eager to hear, and their minds so eager to learn, and their innocent little eyes see right through you, John Cena. John Cena tells all of you that I am a monster, and he's right, I am a monster, and oh, how cruel I can be. He would also have you believe that my message, my honorable message, is nothing but lies, and that I only wish to watch the world burn. And I have to give it to you, John, you're right. Again, I do wish to watch the world burn. I wish to watch it burn like a farmer watches his spoiled crop burn so they can rise up again. This world must be burned down so it can be reborn.
Kane.
No.
AJ Styles.
No. You're bad at this.
It's not Punk again.
It's one of your favorites.
That doesn't seem right.
Rip.
What? I don't think my favorite.
He might be wearing his shirt right now.
I don't think my Bray Wyatt really.
Yes.
Okay, I was gonna say
from 2014.
Died.
You people, you care about Ric Flair? Well, I worship the damn ground he walked on. Nobody was a bigger mark for Flair than me.
MJF.
No, make no mistake about it. Flair to me was the greatest wrestler in history. That's why I was so excited when he came here 4 years ago. I was thrilled until I saw him. When I saw him, he was a shell of a man. He was mentally broken. I reached down and pulled him up. I let Ric Flair sit at my right hand. I let Ric Flair stand in my light, bask in my glory, and standing by my side, Ric Flair actually appeared to be great again. The Nature Boy was back. Woo! Even I started to believe it. Then a month ago, when I was sitting home in my time off, I saw him in this ring, with spit dripping off his face, with apple dripping off his face, letting people spit on the legacy of Ric Flair. I knew then what I had to do. I knew what only somebody who really cares can do. I took the horse out behind the barn and pulled the trigger. It's over. No more limousine riding, no more jet flying, no more Nature Boy. But I'd be damned if I let somebody tarnish my memories of Ric Flair.
Triple H.
Correct. The whole pulled the trigger on the horse is a famous one.
I just knew because, I was trying to think of what context Flair would be in. It was either when he came to TNA or I was thinking
WWE.
WWE, but...
is that post-Evolution?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what was tipping me off was
Right.
the by my side and the whole. I know that period when he came to WWE was the whole confidence thing
Yes.
for him. You know that's been well documented.
So this is one I really enjoyed. You might get it by the catchphrase at the end. I don't know how closely you know this guy because it's from an era you weren't really watching.
That doesn't seem to stop me.
Entertainment in our society is at an all-time low, riddled with nonsensical pop culture that has little or no social, moral, or educational qualities. Gone are the days where the masses are captivated by the works of Shakespeare and Mozart, abhorrently replaced with observing the lives of ever so desperate housewives or fist-pumping to eardrum-shattering bass in a sea of false tans and false bravados. Historically, one can judge a civilization as how they choose to entertain themselves. It is a direct reflection on the moral and ethical code. Sadly, your mirror reflection reveals that you are people of laziness, mediocrity, and complacency. Blame you for this said ignorance. That is something that I pledge to never do. Save you from this said ignorance. Now that is the essence of my true calling. You're welcome.
I thought it was Sandow.
It was so good.
Even before the catchphrase, I thought it was
just the way he
Sandow.
talks, right?
Yeah.
He was so damn good on the mic. That character was crazy. So this one you'll get for sure, and I put it in because it's a FNS favorite. First, you leave me to get beat, and now you're not answering. Is that funny to you? You know I love my wife, but I can't go home like this. Does that amuse you? Have I displeased you? Have I not bowed enough, kneeled enough? Have I not given your name enough praise? You gave me a body of granite and a neck of sand. Is that some kind of joke? Where are you? Where are you to tell me? Why have you forsaken me? Why have you forsaken your champion? I am done pleading with you for now. I am telling you, my God, make no mistake. You will make me your champion, or you will make me your enemy. For if you stay silent over my head, I will snap necks under my foot, until the next one I redeem is me, and the next one to forgive is you. Everyone else will know pain until I become your favorite champion.
Miss Miro.
So good.
That was a good
It was
one.
such a good promo.
I thought when it was bringing up the wife and getting beat, I thought it was Cody's.
As soon as I hit neck of sand, I knew
I was hoping it was Cody's American promo.
No, I didn't. There's a million more I can find. I was only in the first 3 pages of going from best ever to
Cody American promo is
last one.
legendary.
I'm not sure if you'll get this. Dear, dear, dear. Again, it's the phrasing I find is the best tip-off. Someone has lost their temper, haven't they? I hate to be the one to inform you, lad, but Eugene isn't here this week. Yes, you honestly don't think that I would lead the lamb to the slaughter. No, 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 no. What kind of man do you think would let Eugene into the building last week? Rather perplexing question, isn't it? What kind of diabolical villain do you think would tell Eugene to get involved in your match? It was me, sunshine. You see, me and you know each other very well indeed, don't we? Let me give you people a little history lesson. 11 years ago, me and you were a tag team in WCW. In fact, I was your mentor, wasn't I?
Who's he talking to?
Yes, indeed I was. What can I say? I mean, let's face facts. Some people like us, we're just born naughty. We are. That's why we gravitated toward each other. And if you would have used and abused anyone else except for that poor dear boy Eugene, I would have applauded your cunning. I feel like it's Triple H, but I'm not sure. Because I think they were a tag team and maybe not.
Really?
I'm not sure. But anyways, yes, it was Regal. Okay, good job. I don't know how. I decided to do something different this week. So anyways, we'll switch gears back into talking more wrestling. Anything notable from the week we watched, we call it Highspots and Restholds. Okay, so starting it with Raw, quickly, because this is getting long and you got to get to work. But Gunther's to the ring first, and they show us the clip from last week where your big tough champion can't even attack somebody from behind when they're sitting down at a table.
Yeah.
And that one kick to the gut immobilizes him for several
Must
minutes.
have had food poisoning.
So that's great. Priest then interrupts and is basically a relentless jerk despite being the babyface here. He talks about the pressures getting to Gunther, right, because he lost to Cody, and I think he's starting to doubt himself is the story. Gunther attacks him with the mic, but of course, Priest gets the upper hand and puts Gunther through the announce table with the razor's edge. And I think you saw that spot. At this point, it's almost like the table is just gently lowering people to the ground.
Yeah, that's why I liked the one with
Impact
Lashley, because that one was different.
Yeah. So again, I don't really like this, right? You're taking a Gunther character that I thought was amazing and a super strong heel champion who is just legitimately better than everybody, and just tearing it away, all because you want us to believe that Damian Priest, the babyface, has a chance
It's so
to win,
credible, yeah.
which
and
I
it's
hope
just-
he
it's not-
doesn't.
It's not working.
We get a Jade medical update from her attack, like a litany of things wrong with her, no timetable for return, and I only pointed out because of the cartoonish, like they showed her on top of the car.
She's just like,
The most cartoonish, unrealistic. I laughed. It was so funny. LW and the Creeds had a tornado tag match. I don't know why it was tornado tag, but it was.
just
Some-
for something different, I guess.
I think you were around for some of it.
I did. I didn't really pay attention, but
Some fun stuff. Julius looked like a beast, and I just say I think poor Brutus is biding his time until he gets Genetti'd at this point, right?
yeah, he's more than likely getting genetic. Kind of like
It's clearly
Mark Davis
Julius.
has.
Gable shows up to turn Mysterio's mask around, and remember Ray is like, "Oh, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I fix my mask backwards?" So Julius rolls him up for the win. So there's a roll-up win. Awesome. R-Truth wants to hide from Butch in Judgment Day's clubhouse. And remember, as soon as they used the word clubhouse, you were like, "I'm out." It sounds like they're little
Balor's
kids.
just like, that was me on this. He's like, if you don't get in my clubhouse, I'm just like, dude.
It's one step away from saying like your treehouse, basically, right?
It's not like the Rascals where they're like kind of goofy. So it's like, it's not like they're trying to be this tough heel group. It's like he's
my
like this
clubhouse.
tough heel like leader, and he's just like, get in my clubhouse.
So they
It's
won't.
just- it doesn't work.
They won't let him in. So R-Truth wants to cancel Thanksgiving since they're not family anymore, which I kind of laughed at.
It's like the office line. It's like, you're gonna lose Thanksgiving.
And then member Balor is like, "We have no leader, but whenever you do whatever I tell you, everyone's happy."
Then we're chilling. Yeah.
Right?
I
So-
guess.
Are we just gonna keep like, here's a new leader, and then they
And I
turn
see
on him?
people are like saying that it seems like the group's splitting up, which is crazy because it's been like not even months.
Are we gonna work our way to like Carlito's the leader gets a turn, and then he's like the leader, not
Everything-
leader?
Everything goes to crap. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here?
I feel like they're just treading water with this group, and I used to enjoy
it
them.
sucks because they were cool.
They
but-
were cool, and now they're just kind of there every week.
And now I don't know what happens to JD McDonough after this.
Nothing.
That's what I'm concerned
Obscurity.
about. Maybe
That's what happens to him.
Might.
Back to NXT would be amazing
Yeah.
for me.
And
maybe him.
He could actually be like champion there.
He could. Breaker and Kaiser have a pretty good 9-minute match until Sheamus interferes and it's a DQ. Brawling through a commercial break, officials get them separated, and Pierce comes out and makes their triple threat match official. So just
that
like
one I'm looking forward to.
me too. Basically a copy and paste from last week, right? Just rotating the roles. And at one point, Braun ran really hard into the corner of the
I
commentary.
saw that. He like shifted it.
I was
too.
surprised he wasn't hurt, to be honest. And agree, I think this triple threat could be really good. I'm actually looking
probably
forward
looking
to
for
it.
that maybe the most. I
Me
don't
too.
know.
I think you're right. Sammy's backstage with the Usos. Jimmy says they can trust Punk because Heyman says so, which makes me think Heyman's going to turn on them.
That's what the speculation I've heard, which I think is so lame.
Sounds like they're setting
Like,
up for that.
I'll complain about it later.
Jay says he'll beat Fatu in the SmackDown to earn the advantage in War
Yeah.
Games, as if.
That's like basically telling you they want Solo's team to have the advantage if they put Fatu in the match. Like,
right.
if you put Tamatanga, there's a chance he loses. There's a chance he wins by shenanigans. But like Fatu's
And you know
not
they
losing.
love the heels having the advantage.
Not even, because the last couple times
The women's
the
isn't.
women's have had babyface. Last year they had the Ruffles vote.
Oh my God.
I
Yeah.
just saw clips of it because Bianca Belair posted it, but like all the Trons had the Ruffles logos, and it was
Gross.
just like insufferable.
I kind of find this weird because yes, there's history between all these guys for this War Games, which they're not for the women's, but it almost like they're all forgetting the history themselves. You know what I mean? Like you guys hated each other and wanted to kill each other. And now you're on the same. Yeah, I don't know. It's just
I
kind of
think the
strange. to
bloodline
me.
makes sense because they've been trying to at least establish this new bloodline as such a threat. But for me, I think it loses a bit of whatever in the fact that this could have been 4-on-4.
Yeah.
And that your War Games, and you'd have the rare chance for the War Games, makes perfect sense. Like the bloodline when they did the first main roster War Games and they had faced McIntyre. I think it was McIntyre, Owens, and the Brawling Brutes, right?
Yeah.
That made sense to make that a 5-team because that's when Sammy's with the bloodline. So they were a 5-person unit.
Now we're just
And that's fair.
stapling on people.
Now we're stapling on Bronson and Punk. And for me, Bronson, like if you had to pick fifth one, that he's a good one because he's dominant, whatever. But then why didn't we pick Rollins? And then at least they have a reason to feud, and you have the storyline with Rollins and Reigns, right? But now like Punk, and I'll talk about it later, it doesn't work for me, and I feel like it's just like the Heyman connection is all that's tying him here,
Mm-hmm.
and even then that's kind of loose because they haven't had anything to do with each other for like 11 years.
Right. Yeah, I'm not. There is the history, but it's also like you're also just kind of ignoring it and working together anyway.
Yeah, and I feel like the history with Punk and Heyman is just they're using that as an excuse,
Mhm.
not as an actual reason.
Judgment Day successfully defended their tag titles over the War Raiders with the second roll-up of the night, Will Washington. Lots of cheating by Judgment Day, including a spot where McDonough shimmies to the ropes, right?
Yeah, I did see that.
The War Raiders hit their finisher, and he kind of works his way over so that his foot can be put on the ropes. So the referee ejects Dom from ringside. Eric took out Dom and Carlito with a running elbow. Ivar went to the ropes for a move, but Balor attacked, snapped the neck against the top rope, and Jungle Boy. JD, because my JB used to be my Jungle Boy.
Oh, that's right. You used to. Do you still? Yeah.
No.
You used to parry.
I do parry. So McDonough rolled up Ivar, and it felt like it kind of halted War Raiders' momentum. So I wasn't a big fan of this. And
then you shouldn't have given them the title shot. But then it's like, kind of, where do you go?
They need to shift these titles from Judgment Day, and I guess are they waiting to do it at a bigger?
No, because they don't put the tag titles on PLEs. So
it's like you've got War Raiders back. They're crushing everybody, and now it's like, nope, they lose. So I wasn't a fan of it. The New Day 10th anniversary is next week. Only include this to point out that Big E is in a lot of the footage. And then Woods and Kofi were watching the video. They love each other for now, and then next week will be the best night of their careers. And then after the break, they're straight into a match and coming off of like loving, and then right away it's problems.
Yeah.
Cody wants to start the match. Woods tags himself in. Otis does a couple things, and then Tozawa hits a senton off the top to Woods, and it's over in 2 minutes.
They lost to Alpha
in 2 minutes.
That's crazy.
So this brings on Kofi and Woods arguing. They're arguing kind of...
I mean, I'd be mad too if I'm losing to Alpha Academy in 2 minutes.
2 minutes. Then it's backstage, and they're arguing some more, and things really escalate. And I quite enjoyed this. You've got Kofi telling Woods that Kofi and Big E never let Woods call the shots because he's too reckless. Then Woods tries to take credit for Kofi's success, being like, I'm the one that supported you. And then Kofi's line I thought was awesome. He goes, I was a Hall of Famer when you met me. Right? Like, you did nothing for me. I was already a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, Kofi was definitely the most accomplished when they started.
And then it's hard to tell who's the heel because Kofi goes on to say, like, you're just not good enough to win major singles titles. That's the problem.
That's ouch.
And then Woods reminds Kofi that he lost to Redacted in 6 seconds. So, yeah, you were a champion and lost in 6 seconds.
They obviously didn't name drop or anything?
No,
well,
I just think
like they just like he lost the title in 6 seconds kind of thing.
I think so.
So I was gonna say you can't be mentioning that.
And so really well done, like personal shots by both, almost to the point where it's hard to tell who's the heel here, right?
Yeah,
so,
like where you're supposed to.
Believable tension, and again, I thought maybe Kofi made a slip by calling next week's anniversary a reunion to end the segment. So it's kind of like either it's intentionally they're breadcrumbing it, or he knows it is and just said that instead, misspoke. So it feels to me like Big E's coming back. Final Testament are idiots because they like intentionally leave Scarlett alone to go find the Wyatt. So, what do you think happens?
Yeah, Nikki, I saw that was the thing.
Nikki shows up in the mirror. Scarlett's super scared. When Final Testament return, she's been attacked, and then in a super cheesy moment, because I guess she's traumatized. So when Cross comes in, she starts attacking Cross. Because I guess she just doesn't know what's going on. And then he's holding her, and it's like, who did this to you?
As if it could be anyone else.
And she's like, Nikki. And then they look, and it says, everyone has something to lose on the mirror. So I don't know. It just kind of seems really daytime soap opera vibes, super cheesy. And like, as soon as they're like, we're going to leave you here to keep you safe. Like, how stupid are you guys?
It's not.
Wouldn't she be safer if someone stays with her?
It's not even that it's just stupid. That's like horror movie 101.
Yes.
You never leave someone alone. You never split up.
Half horror movie, half daytime soap opera.
Yeah. Like,
neither good.
Yeah.
And this is where I thought I was going crazy because they showed the recap of earlier tonight where he showed the IC title, but he didn't. So they meant before the show, I guess. I don't know.
But why would they show that before the show?
It was weird. And then Belair beat Nia Jax in the main event to get the War Games advantage because this story has been like, no, we're not adding Bayley because Belair hates Bayley and they've had this long feud or this long history of whatever together. So Bayley comes out.
War Games is a time to ignore history.
That's correct. So Bayley comes out and cheats for Belair by tripping Jax into the exposed turnbuckle. So now it's like, can they coexist, Belair and...
Which is our favorite.
Right. The match was fine, and at one point Belair got someone dropped on the table, and somehow it didn't break. Like a stiff breeze
I
hits
saw
it
that
and it breaks.
Fatu did to Jay too, but he was like standing
It's
on
like
the
they crank
table.
up the tension on it somehow.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Like when it's convenient.
So despite their history, Belair will now have to trust Bayley. Wow, interesting.
That is surprising.
NXT, First thing I would like to say is I feel like the crowd signs are planted in NXT lately.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Crowds
honestly.
have, when it feels exactly like 2K video games where
Oh,
it's
like the yeah.
super standard, all the same
Yeah.
size, very similar fonts,
Yeah.
very similar like letters to white space, like just super generic, and nobody's really creative at all.
And it's a small venue, so it's like,
Yeah.
well, you can tell the difference between that and
It's like they're just handing them out as they come.
Callus eats yellow snow or something.
And the number of people in Chase U stuff feels forced a bit.
Especially the other week when they were splitting.
So we get a recap package on that very man losing the main event last week. And again, it includes Holland saying, and I think this is their way of weaseling out of it, the Chase U as we know it dies.
Oh, so they're going to like form a new
They
version
keep hitting on that, right? So I feel like
it's always in that verbiage. It was kind of like
Yes.
Danielson when they did that, right?
And there's a bit of a tease coming up too, I think. So Chase U theme and the banner on the ramp, and the crowd's all excited, and then it's Ridge Holland bursts through the banner.
I didn't think that was
funny. He told us so. He'll see Trick at Deadline, and then a mic drop. I do think they're doing a pretty good job of elevating this guy right now. I'm not a huge fan.
I never was.
But he's becoming believable as this despicable heel, and his matches haven't been bad either, and this is what developmental's for, and if you really press me on it, I'm more interested in him than Trick.
That's what it comes down to, honestly,
Right?
is I just really don't like Trick.
Iron Survivor qualifier, Ethan Page, Axiom. Fraser's there to support Axiom. We get a commercial break 9 minutes into the show, which I thought was weird. Like the match barely starts and there's a commercial. But anyways, Page avoids the golden ratio and escapes to the floor. Head scissors from the apron sends Page into the announce table, but it looked like Axiom landed really hard as he kind of swung into the apron as well. This was cool. Axiom kipped up right into a boot from Page. I liked
that. I did see that.
Vic suggests that Page is more dangerous now than when he was champion.
Probably
100% agree.
That's not really much of a bar.
Tag teams are watching on a monitor backstage because
they're
it's
stepping
Axiom. That's right. Axiom Spanish fly into an armbar into a triangle, but Page powers out with a power bomb in a really nice sequence. Top rope Spanish fly by Axiom for a near fall. Side slam onto the top turnbuckle by Page. They call it a backbreaker and it annoys me. It's targeting his back, but it's like...
But Roddy's done that before,
I guess.
And they call it a backbreaker.
Page counters a guillotine with a suplex into the corner, followed by a powerbomb onto the knee. I thought that was like the Josh Alexander shout out here. Tease. I would love that to happen. Avalanche, Eagle's Edge is countered with a Hurricane Rana. Golden Ratio countered with a huge lariat, and Page just wins after 17 minutes.
I saw Axiom absolutely drill him with that moonsault DDT.
Crazy DDT.
Like, absolutely stuck him.
He did. I didn't make a note for some reason, but he did. I would say this is Page's best match in NXT. I thought it was awesome contrast to styles, and I honestly wasn't sure who was going to win.
I always thought Axiom, so credit to them for doing that.
Right?
And obviously, there's the last chance.
There
So
is.
I think it is what you're saying. I just wasn't 100% sold on if that was happening or not.
It was Axiom flying around with quick transitions, and then Page deliberate with high impact stuff. Got 17 minutes. Crowd was super into it.
Wait, are you saying Page is good when they actually let him do stuff?
And then they let him speak post match, and this was more of his peak style
I don't know if
too.
I saw this.
He gets Fraser to say that he basically
I did see a bit
gets
of it.
Fraser to say that Axiom's not the driving force of their team, and he's like, "Oh, wait," because and it's sort of this
is that
awkward-
really that bad of a thing to say? Like,
Well, it's because you're saying you are.
yeah, but I guess you
Is the
could say there
implication.
isn't one.
Wes Lee comes out, gets interrupted by Javon Evans, interrupted by OTM. Tag teams come out and brawl. Axiom Fraser dive onto them, copy and paste that stuff from last week. Really, so this is the thing, right? I really like Iron Survivor matches. I really enjoy the qualifying matches, almost provide a tournament atmosphere that I always enjoy. And I think the last chance match is a cool idea too and gives you
I
a
do
multi-man.
like when they do that. I mean,
right?
sometimes I think it's kind of silly, but like...
So I think it's kind of peak NXT for me. I really like it.
I wish they'd done this in the black and gold era. It would have been so cool.
Page winning is cool. I hope Axiom wins the second chance because I think that's a really good opportunity to
I think that's what he has to do, right?
Right, I think so.
And I saw, aren't they defending the titles too? Like they have to double duty?
Yes.
Right?
Awesome start to the show, I thought. Women's locker room standard stuff. Brindley Reese says Saul is her pick to win Iron Survivor. And then Lola and Stephanie Vicker have a conversation almost entirely in Spanish with no subtitles. But I think it's fine.
I like when they do that sometimes.
Me too.
Like they did that with Claudio, right? When he was speaking German.
Lola says she had to make sure Steph won was basically the gist of it. Ren Sinclair says it was crazy that Lola went after Jada again, and that leads to a match being set between the two of them. Same crazy formula for the women's division angles, but I guess it gets the job done, these little backstage things. Ashante the Adonis asks Nikki about calling him out last week and says that train has left the station and things are different now. Nikita says he did text her, right? He says, yes, of course. just as Carmen walks up. So they clarified
Oh.
it. He did text her first.
Interesting.
Nikita calls Carmen a little girl and leaves. Carmen says, "Fool me once, shame on me," before shoving Ashante and walking off. So I like they clarified he did text Nikita, and I laughed because Nikita goes, "You texted me, right?" And he goes, "Who didn't I text?" Which is like,
Nice.
the man
Okay.
casts a wide net, right? So I
That's a
like
good
that.
one. That's a good one.
And I do hate myself a little bit, but I enjoy this high school drama angle that I sometimes don't on NXT. Something about Ashanti's working for me.
Because he's funny.
We get the Ren Sinclair Lola Vice match, and the idea is that Vice is super pissed after losing her last match with a brick to the face from Parker, so she's being extra aggressive, holds encounters early, and often, as you would expect from these two, MMA background for Lola Vice, and that's kind of Sinclair's style, I think, right? Is the
Or catch wrestling or something.
yeah,
like that.
basically. Ren hesitates to stomp Lola's hand on the steps. Lola throws her off. Ren follows with an immediate drop kick, sending Vice into the steps. Back in the ring, Vice kicks out of a roll-up, sudden spinning back fist for the win. 4.5 minutes. Solid short. Vice yells that she and Parker, so no mic, she just yells, "We're taking this underground."
Yeah, because
So we're getting
that's
that.
where you gotta. That's her match.
That's where you got to go.
I like how they tried to make it Eddie Thorpe's thing too, didn't they?
Yes, they did. Spears is backstage bragging about manipulating the situation to get his North American title shot. Jensen's there agreeing with everything. North American title match, Spears and Tony D. Story is going in that Tony tweaked his knee from the chop block by Spears after their match last week. Spears will obviously target that knee. Tony superplex coming off a commercial break. We cut to picture-in-picture where the tag teams continue to brawl in the parking lot. Tony with the belly-to-belly, but
Stepping up.
his knees give out. Spears applies a figure four to target the knee. Tony's knee gives out again on a spinebuster attempt. One more brief back and forth, but then Tony is successful hitting the forget about it, wins in 8.5 minutes. Jensen attacks afterward. Tony fights him off a little bit, and then Nico shows up, drops Tony with a clothesline, and the heels stand tall and stare at Rizzo for some reason.
Yeah,
And
that was odd.
It's funny because Vic goes from having absolutely no idea who this is to immediately name checking
Nico Vance.
Nico. So
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of solid match, decent storytelling, good selling by Tony. And I never thought Spears would win, but it was a fine TV match. More tag team brawling, people thrown on top of cars, through car windows into garage doors. Stone and Turner are there trying to get them to stop by yelling at them. Like, "Stop, guys, stop." Okay, boss. NXT Focus, it's Andre Chase is sad and reminiscing about Chase U. He's packing up his belongings, leaves the room, walks down the hall, and someone says, "Hey, Mr. Chase," and then he turns around and the segment ends. So something's happening.
Chase you with different people.
And I didn't recognize the voice offhand. Kalani Jordan and Julia for Iron Survivor qualifier. Back and forth early to show they're evenly matched, and I put, but are they? Sick-looking Venus de Milo by Julia. Crowd energy is really good for this and most things in NXT lately, to be honest. Lonnie hit the slingshot tornado to the floor. She sidesteps a missile dropkick, goes for her split-legged moonsault, but gets caught beautifully in a submission. I think it was a triangle. Lonnie eventually powers out with a powerbomb. Will Washington. Paige did the same thing earlier. Perez is shown walking backstage. Spinning driver by Julia, but Lonnie counters into a pinfall attempt. Knee strike by Julia. Northern Lights bomb. She wins after 13 minutes. Listen, I've been kind of critical of Lonnie lately, right? But I thought she held her own pretty well here. Had a good match with Julia. Got a decent amount of time. Obviously, Julia's winning, but Kalani had a good showing. Really good final few minutes, too. I will say, if WWE fans complain about AEW people kicking out and no selling, then they should have had issues with this match too. I don't mind it, but other people complain. I find it exciting. Ava announces there will be a last chance matches, as we expected. Thorpe complains that he was the only one that faced interference, and now he has to beat 3 other guys. Axiom and Fraser get into a little bit. He tries to grab Ava's arm. She gets mad and is like, "Don't touch me," as she's right in a doorway. And then tag team brawling, this hits the door, and the door hits her and knocks her down. A lot going on here. So I would assume it's Axiom. I thought Jada Parker, but she's involved with Lola Vice, so maybe it's Cora Jade, I'm afraid, getting the last chance spot.
Oh, yeah.
And I kind of like Thorpe's nonstop complaining about everything. And if memory serves, his match wasn't interfered with. It was just the tag teams brawling around the ring.
But it was like interference.
Distracting him. More of a distraction. So
Yeah.
I like his constant complaining if it's a heelish character.
I think it could be a turn.
Fear is, I hear Ava getting taken out could mean that we're getting a bloodline in, like new bloodline people in NXT. Like the ones that have been saying they're coming for a while but aren't here
New
yet.
Ones?
The new ones.
Oh, Talatonga.
And then other ones, aren't there too? There's more.
I don't know. I only know Talatonga because
I
it makes
hope
me
not.
giggle.
After a commercial break, Shawn Michaels is pissed at Thorpe and shoves him up against a garage door for putting his hands on Ava. So I find it funny.
You know she can't wrestle.
So Michaels is yelling at an employee for putting their hands on a coworker as he puts his hands on that same employee.
Well,
the coworkers shouldn't be touching coworkers as I touch you.
It's more of his superior.
I guess, but even that's not cool either.
Yeah.
Trick to the ring to speak. He says NXT's been chaos for the past few weeks and we might have seen the end of Chase U. He mentions a bunch of NXT call-ups on the main roster and even includes Mello in that. Ridge only knows how to destroy things, so Trick can't let him become champ or the black and silver brand will die, as you said. Holland interrupts and says the brand will die. And then why? Eric Bischoff on the Tron? He's enjoyed the chaos, wants a closer look, and will be here next week.
Because now we have our WCW episode. They're going to Georgia.
Does nothing for me. Sorry, I'm flying through because I'm getting the low battery notification here.
Uh-oh.
Charlie Dempsey catches up with Ren, who says she was cleared by medical. Tavion Heights and Miles walk up, and they say they're in a tag team battle royal. Ren says Lola hits hard, and Charlie tells her about the last chance match. Ren is nervous about facing all three women at the same time. Her character seems inconsistent. Like before, she was like the gung-ho, let's go, go, go. I'll show you how. And now it's like I'm nervous about stuff. But I do like Heights and Bourne, and I think like they could be a team to watch if you're going to commit to that division. Other things, X-Pac will be on the show next week. And I just see my thoughts on Bischoff showing up and apply them here. Main event.
Or is it 6, because...
Paxley challenging Fallon Henley for the women's title. So Paxley is rolling early, avoiding Henley's offense, and hits a butterfly suplex. Interference by the heels on the floor leads to Henley taking over, swinging kick off the ring post. Back and forth some more, double crossbody, both of them are down. Paxley with a flurry, ending with a crossbody in the corner, and that inverted Samoan drop she does looks pretty cool. Pump handle throw by Henley for 2 as things pick up. Paxley with a nice 450. Psycho Trap countered into a roll up for 2. Jane tries to get involved, but Paxley is ready. Drop kicks her through the ropes. Another Psycho Trap attempt. Henley is near the ropes, holds on, and then Famouser. It's over in 11 minutes. Heels attack after the match, and who makes the save?
Oh, yeah, I saw.
Gigi Dolan. Hooray. The faces clear the ring and stand tall.
And now you get to do the Toxic Attraction feud again.
Pretty good match on a show full of good in-ring action. Henley has... Paxley has potential. She holds her own in some longer matches lately, and I think Henley's pretty solid. So her retaining here was no surprise. Crowd responded well to Dolan, but I didn't. We saw her recently, right? She was not the host, but on whatever it was.
Havoc, probably.
Yeah. So not a huge surprise she's here. And having her involved with Jane, I guess, is one way to go, but I don't care.
It is a way to go.
Anything Smackdown before I have to pause this and get the charger?
The only high spot I had was the new entrance and presentation for Nakamura. It's interesting. They got kind of a remix of his
face
theme.
paint, I hear.
Kind of like eyeshadow kind
cool.
of thing. Kind of like early Malachi Black.
Cool.
I don't hate it at all. I'm not sure how I feel about it yet. At least they're trying something with him, though. It's just a shame he'll definitely lose tonight.
And I assume Fatu won the advantage is the other thing?
That one, yeah. He then Nakamura beat Andrade and Black missed the night after.
Nice.
And then the rest hold was the Punk Reign segment. It was just all about how they don't want a team together. They're having like this sit down in a dark room and there's like a fireplace. It kind of reminded me of some of the Tony D'Angelo segments.
Yes.
Like it's sit down like that. But Punk's doing this for Heyman. Remember that because he never mentioned it again.
Of course. Too much.
It was like a dramatic sit down presentation, right? And like Heyman says Solo would come after Punk after Roman if he didn't help, and I don't see why that would happen. If Punk didn't get involved with the Bloodline, I don't think Solo would ever touch him.
Right.
Heyman's doing his best to put over Solo as a major threat. He says, divided we all fall to Solo. United, at best we survive. That's just too much hyperbole for me. Bless his soul, he's trying, but I don't buy anyone other than Fatu is that much of a threat.
Agree.
And even then, they haven't, like, that's just because I think Fatu's insane. Not because they've done any conceded effort.
Right.
So it falls flat for me. I don't love how due to this so-called threat, Heyman's talking to Roman like Punk is the be-all end-all, and he's the major threat. He's the one they need to beat Solo.
Mm-hmm.
Like we've been getting our asses kicked. Punk is the one we need.
Yeah.
Like that's just.
And the wise man would never lead us astray ever.
Right.
Hint, wink, wink.
Punk's not that guy. Punk says legitimately 3 times in this segment. It was like a 5-minute video I watched. 3 times he says, "I'm not here for you. I don't like you. I'm here for Paul."
Yeah.
Like 3 times at least. I feel like as if we took 3 takes of that line and then they just used them all in the segment.
Right.
They were like, which take are you using? Mm-hmm. Punk says they can revisit the combo between him and Roman after War Games, and the dramatic music playing during that is so unnecessary. And also, I don't want to see that.
I can't stand when they do that.
Music ramps up as they both say one time. Punk says one favor, but he says, "Not to you, favor to Paul," because again, he's here for Paul,
right?
And he says, "Our wise man." Again,
they share
telegraphing that, and then Punk leaves Roman, asks about the favor, and Heyman says that they'll get through War Games and they can talk about the favor after. So clearly, there's something there, and it's not that subtle, honestly.
It doesn't seem like it.
I've heard speculation of Punk and Heyman turning heel on Roman. Let's not. I think Roman and Heyman are a great connection together. Like I think it's just kind of perfect. And Heyman turning heel, it's weird. And like Punk and Heyman were good too, but that was over a decade ago.
I know.
And Punk
forgot basically.
Punk does not have the same barker bite he had then.
No,
he's not that
or
guy.
Not as good
anymore.
in the ring either. I would suggest
he's not good. He's not the Punk of old at all. This is lame. The stakes aren't there for me whatsoever. Over the top cinematic main roster bullshit that alienates me. The cherry on top is Punk. He single-handedly makes me care less about this.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, the War Games did not need to be 5-on-5.
It does not. But it is, and we'll watch it. And we're actually segue because we're gonna pause this, get a charger, and preview Survivor Series War Games. All right, I certainly haven't thought much about this one because
I haven't either.
I don't feel
who cares?
It's worth much of my thoughts, but let's talk about it.
I'd rather pick Collision. Like, do picks for it, even though it's Collision. LA Knight versus Nakamura for the US title. I love Nakamura and I like new Nakamura, but he doesn't have a chance.
I agree. I don't think they're moving it off Knight yet, and
Nakamura, not for Nakamura
has enough history of being disrespected by this company that I don't, even if he is cool, I'm interested to see the new version of him because I don't watch SmackDown, so I have no idea, but I agree with you. I don't think there's any world where he's winning.
Breaker Sheamus Kaiser for the Intercontinental title. I'd really love it for it to be Kaiser. I think he's done some great work and shown some great potential this year, but I think next year will be his time. I think Breaker shouldn't have his title run cut short again because I think
he already lost once.
Was the mistake.
I agree. So exact same thing. I don't think you need him losing his title twice in the first couple months, right?
Yeah. So I think like Kaiser, his time will come.
Yeah, I agree. He's looked cool, and they're sort of teasing it. Gunther's giving them a whole go out and do your own thing, right? So I'm hoping he does, and this could be the springboard for it, I guess.
Speak of the devil. Oh, yeah, that is the next one. Gunther versus Damian Priest. Gunther's been booked so badly in this feud, there's no other acceptable outcome than for him to beat Priest emphatically.
Yeah, I agree. It's going to be because Priest has had the upper hand at every turn, right? And so Pro Wrestling 101 dictates, like, although they didn't do it with Orange Cassidy, right? But because I think but anyways, usually it is going to be that way, and I don't think there's any chance Gunther loses here. I'll take him as well.
Yeah. Women's War Games matches: Belair, Io, Naomi, Bailey, and Ripley against Jax, Stratton, Morgan, Raquel, and Candice LeRae. That just seems weird still. I'm just gonna pick the babyface team because it's so random. I don't even know I don't know.
This is gonna be really boring because I also think it's just I'm taking the baby faces in this one. I don't really have a lot of interest either, but I don't.
It's so random and cobbled together. There's no way for me to like make a logical pick. I'm just throwing one out there.
Yeah, I agree. I'm gonna take the baby faces in that one. No real passion behind it. Just thinking that.
Yeah. Then the men's War Games match was the Bloodline and Bronson Reed against the OG Bloodline and Chicago Phil. The Temu Bloodline were lucky enough to eke out a win in Saudi over the OGs. There's no way they can manage another win here, especially with the Bloodline's last guy being CM Punk. Seems unlikely he'll take that loss coming back. Roman gets the win for his team, then he has a case to face Solo so we can have a match for whoever's the true tribal chief.
But then where does the Heyman stuff come in? If he is gonna turn, fine. I'll take Temu.
Temu Bloodline. I will write that verbatim.
Temu Bloodline just to be different. And if there is some sort of Heyman shenanigans, I would hope it leads to a win for somebody, or else like, what's the point? Kind of, you know what I mean? So I will take Temu Bloodline.
Yeah.
That's it, eh?
5 matches.
All right, that's gonna wrap up 228. We're coming in just under 3 hours. That's about what I expected. So, I mean, I doubt we're going to love War Games enough to talk about it before Saturday, so we'll start off with that again next week probably, and everything else
we watch it.
Usually talk about. Oh, I'll watch it. I don't know about you, but I'll watch it. Anyways, we hope to see you back here for 229. Have a great week. See you next Saturday, and until then, everybody, take care.